isn't Ukraine or isn't COVID. Now it's the Muslims. And I don't like a lot of the stuff Israel's doing. I think they stood down. I think it was a false flag. I mean, I think real Islamicists attacked, but it was clearly money Biden sent. But what's the larger picture here with Harvard and the big universities endorsing this? We got a lot to talk about in the 45 minutes or so we've got him. And I'm going to cover some more news after he leaves us in this hour before the next guest joins us. But clearly we said another big war is coming. That's going to be the distraction from the COVID deaths, all the rest of it. And now they're trying to trigger a holy war. Obviously, you get boosted big on Twitter and everywhere else, Hotep, where you're already reaching millions a day if you got on the bandwagon. But clearly the establishment is trying to create some type of clash of civilizations here. Hotep Jesus, thank you for joining us, hotepjesus.com. And people can also find you at Hotep Jesus on Twitter and menofhonor.com. So, Hotep, thank you so much for coming on with us.
Oh, absolute pleasure, Alex. So, yeah, so your take on Israel is pretty much similar to my take. Obviously, the timing is convenient. We have election season now here, a.k.a. grifting season. Nikki Haley has proven to be a supreme grifter herself after her comments on Fox last night. But what's the bigger story here? Well, first of all, the next distraction is to create something domestically, right? Create some sort of event domestically. Now, it's been happening in spurts here and there. You have protesters clashing. You have Grand Central Station being attacked by pro-Palestine protesters. You have Jewish people being attacked. A lot of different skirmishes have taken place on domestic soil. Much of this planned, much of this known by the elite rulers. And that was one of my fears early on, where there's conflict in the Middle East, and because of all the vitriol on social media spilled into our streets. Now, much of this stuff, as we know, Hamas and Palestine has been supported by George Soros. Black Lives Matter supported by George Soros. We've tracked down some of these protests between the pro-Palestine socialists, I think Stop the War Coalition is one of them. And Jeremy Corbyn is partly behind some of these protests. So what we have is a communist socialist takeover of another people's struggle. But what's the bigger story that's happening here? Well, while everybody's distracted by the Middle East, what we are experiencing is a complete and total financial transformation where money is going to change how it operates, both at a wholesale level and a retail level. Right now, the House Financial Services Committee is discussing Basel III Endgame. And basically what they're talking about now is, what are the capital requirements for a banking institution? Now, we know what the capital requirements have been since COVID. They said that they are basically zero. You need zero reserves. But now Basel III is challenging some of that and saying that banks need to hold more money, more cash, more capital, which is going to hurt, obviously, the small guys. So what we're looking at right now is actually a huge transformation of the banking industry. If you look, you'll see many banks right now shutting down. You have Wells Fargo.
By the way, let me just interrupt you and say, bingo, 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 ding, 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 ding. We're coming to the end of the big bubble, the new rollout of the central bank currencies. They admit it, and they need crises as the diversion to bring this in.
That's correct. And not only so the crises is going to be the diversion so they don't see all the laws being passed. But then later on, the crises is going.
The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. Views and opinions expressed by Hotep Jesus are those of Hotep Jesus's and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Hotep Nation or any of its officials. If you have any questions about this disclaimer, please contact our Office of General Counsel via the sheet of the town. And Hotep and them.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How I'm supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in.
How'd you get that done so quick? They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there. You understand?
You guys finished your work 6 hours early? He's not tapped in.
The new year is kicking off. Got a wonderful presentation for you today. I had to make a slide presentation. Can you believe that? The Grift Report starts right now.
2, 1, boom. Hotep Jesus.
Of all the Jesuses I know, he's the Hotepiest. Social scientist and YouTube host, Hotep Jesus.
How the fuck do you get a name like Hotep Jesus?
The one and only Hotep Jesus.
Ryan Sharp, better known to the world as Hotep Jesus.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Somebody said, what do you think you are, some kind of Hotep Jesus?
Ooh,
And
that's
I was
good.
Just like, ooh, that's sexy. Yes, I do think I'm Hotep Jesus.
What's up, Hoteps? Welcome to the Grift Report live Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. I'm your host, the Grift God.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
Hotep to the Hoteps. Hotep to the Hotepistanis. Hotepistanis. Hotep to the Hoteps.
Hotep.
What's up, y'all? Strong Dad in the house. What up, man? Retro Neon, I see you. It's just me, I see you. P-Dog Knight, what up, man? Oz, what up? Montoya Jack Reeves. What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Welcome to the new year. We got a spicy show lined up for you today. I had to break out the slideshow presentation maker thingamajiggy. I had to make slides for today's show just to make sure that I didn't miss any ideas. Any ideas? Hold on a second. I want to make sure we get the Grifties link up here. Get your tickets. Bing bong boom. I wish this fucking. Oh shit, Steph Cronin said bought VIP tickets for the Grifties yesterday. It's up. It's legit. Legit. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Why can I only pin from one view? That's so weird. That is so weird. Anyway, let's go back to live chat. I want to see the chat live. Shout out to Steph Colonel supporting the channel. Appreciate you. Without further ado, let's pull this up on your screen. There it is. Grifties.com. Oh shit, we got a bunch of new nominees. Special Counsel Jack Smith has been nominated. New York Attorney General Letitia James has been nominated. Donald Trump has been nominated. Always Marco, Frauditer Troll. Currently, Hotep Jesus is in the lead for Grifter of the Year.
Oh, this a real Hotep brother.
Shout out to everybody. Make sure you go there and vote for me. Who's under groups? Okay, nothing there. All right. Colorado Ped Patrol. Again, don't forget Alex Stein, Chrissy Mayer, Anomaly, and much more being announced soon. Sam Tripoli is a maybe, depending on if he gets booked or not. So please don't book him so he can come. Pause. There's right there, man. March 9th, 2024, Hotep Nation, 4th annual Grifties. This is the first annual live. Make sure you go get your tickets. General admission is, let me fix this on your screen. General admission is $25. VIP is $100, and that gets you inside the green room upstairs, etc., etc. So make sure you copy your tickets. All right. Cool beans. All right, without further ado, let's hop right into today's presentation. We are going to take a look at Claudine Gay and her alleged plagiarism. Now, I put this tweet out yesterday, and we're just going to take a look at some of the responses so I can show you how shitty Twitter is before we dive into the specifics. I said, where's the evidence that Claudine Gay plagiarized, and who discovered it, and who was plagiarized? Very simple question, right? But because social media is so polarizing and I have a black face, keep in mind, everybody says they're colorblind today. But as soon as you ask this question, people automatically assume that you don't believe the story. Now, as you know, as Hotep Jesus, oh, excuse me. What was that about? As you know, as Hotep Jesus, I don't believe shit. And I want to see the proof. I want to see the proof. So when I talk about something, excuse me, when I talk about something, I don't sound like a complete and total moron. Or if somebody says, hey, they plagiarized, I can say, here's where she plagiarized. And here's how bad it was. So that's what we're going to do today, right? So unfortunately, Twitter was unable to help me with this, right? And somebody here says it was literally lack of quotations. They really targeted her. We're going to come back to that tweet in just a moment. We're going to come back to this evidence right here that I responded to in just a moment. Here we have a link to Wall Street Journal, which I did not read, mostly because I wanted somebody to just lay it out for me. But if you're going to just send me like links to a story, that kind of doesn't help. Especially when you got to pay for it. Although I do have a membership to the Wall Street Journal. Anyway, let's go back. So I got some answers about Carol Swain. My followers helped me understand that yesterday. Somebody sent me this link, which 37 pages, which is probably quite thorough. And I actually just now seeing this. When was this tweeted? 15 hours ago? Wow, I just now seeing this. Anyway, so somebody says, dude, tell me you're being sarcastic. And it's just like, sarcastic? Like, nah, I just want to see the evidence. Somebody says, all great questions. I hope the answers are made public. Will reduce. All right, so, you know, not much help here. So I had to do the digging on my own, right? And everybody said Chris Rufo was the guy that dug it up. So I wanted to read exactly what he was talking about. But before we get into that, I want to just show you the first instance that came across my desk, which was this, which is in reference to the Voting Rights Act. Now, the first thing I did was I just Googled part of the phrase. And my hunch was that the information that's in this tweet, and I'll show you right here the information that's in this tweet. My hunch was because somebody showed this to me, they said it's the Voting Rights Act, and I'm reading this, and it says the central parts of the Voting Rights Act are Section 2, Section 5, and it goes on to talk about the verbiage in there. So the first thing that popped in my mind goes, all right, that's probably the shit that all these academics argue about is Section 2 and Section 5, right? This is probably what all these academics refer to. So I don't think we're going to find much plagiarism there, although I think we may find some closeness and likeness to somebody else's work. So when I Googled this, you know what came up? Justice.gov. Justice.gov. So when I looked at justice.gov, what does it say right here? It literally says about Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act. So I was like, my hunch was right. After reading that, I was like, oh, okay, so this is just something that people always talk about. Because I've never looked into the Voting Rights Act. I don't give a shit about Voting Rights Act because I don't fucking vote. So I've never looked into this shit. And then sure enough, I just, looked up 50% or percent to see what pops up. And you'll see the same thing being quoted here on justice.gov. All right. So let's go back and you see here it says Where is it? Or is this, or am I responding to the wrong person? Abridged, da 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 da. No, it wasn't this one. It was the other one. I'm sorry. It was, or am I'm confusing a couple of different sources. Hold on a second. All right, no, here it is. Okay, I clicked on the wrong thing. All right, here we are. So it says here, David Cannon said states in which less than 50% of the voting age population either registered or voted in the 1964 presidential election, right? So then if you look right here, and it says right here, 50% of the persons of voting age registered in 1964, less than 50% of the voting voted in 1964, right? So it's the same thing as right here in justice.gov, right? So really fast, out of curiosity, I just want to see Claudine Gay. I just want to see her area of study, because I have a feeling it's probably law. Okay, behavioral sciences, political science, and she was a fellow for behavioral science, American political behavior, including voter turnout, housing policy, politics of race and identity. Okay, so she was hired. My guess is she was hired because she fit the agenda, right? They need somebody who's going to be an advocate for what people now deem wokeism, right? So she talked about voter turnout, and this is one of the things that she discussed, right? So coming back, if you can look right here, this is on justice.gov, right? So my point in the matter in regard to this citation, and I didn't even look at the second one, right? Like this one right here, I just looked at one and I was just like, I don't know if I can take this serious as plagiarism. Because so many people are saying the same shit. Like you can literally take this section right here and pop it into Google and you'll get a bunch of people citing the same shit. Right here, census.gov, and it's just down the line. So for us, regular folk, common folk that didn't go to Harvard, we don't know about this stuff, but these people study this stuff. So this is kind of like common knowledge, right? So where they try to say like she stole this, I'm like, it seems like something you would just study if you were in her line of work, if you were involved in political justice, social justice, and voting rights and all of that. Is just something that you would cite, right? So on this instance, I got to go, it's a dud, right? So then I was like, all right, let me go and see what Chris Rufo said, right? And I wanted to see exactly what he said. So we go to Chris Rufo's paper, and then we get this quote right here. He says, she does provide a reference to the original authors. She uses their verbatim language with few trivial synonym substitutions without providing quotation marks. So going back, this person is actually correct, right? Where we click on here and she says it was literally lack of quotations. That is correct. It is literally a lack of quotations, according to Chris Rufo, the guy who people say is known for exposing her. Then we have the Swain plagiarism, right? And he talks about here. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Okay, you see it good. All right. So later in the paper, Gay also uses identical language to Swain without adding quotation marks as required. And it says here, since the 1950s, the re-election rate for House members has really dipped below 90%. The re-election rate for House members has really dipped below 90%. Now I'm saying to myself, if you study political science, if this is your area of expertise, this is probably like me reciting, some basic money theme, right? Like if I was to tell you about fractional reserve banking, like, I wouldn't cite a source. I've fucking studied this shit so much I can just explain it or just give you a stat out of nowhere if, you know, I could pull one out of my brain, right? And these are Harvard's best. So the issue here, again, is like, with like this one here, it's citing the law, okay? With this one right here, it's citing statistics. Now, when I first heard plagiarism, I think ideas. Okay, that's the first thing I think of. I think ideas. You stole my idea, you know, whatever. But that actually is not the case here. It's just that they're sharing the same knowledge. So I don't know if we can say this is plagiarism. Okay. Now, I will say this. Where is it? Hold on. I thought he included it here. All right, I don't think he included it here. It was something else where I read it. But the fact of the matter is, according to Harvard's definition of plagiarism, she definitely plagiarized. I'm going to tell y'all straight down the middle.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
I'm always going to call a spade a spade. You know, you could say it was just a lack of quotations, but according to Harvard, oh, here it is. Harvard in particular has a strict policy on these matters, right? Oh, no, it's not here. I think I saw it somewhere else. But, oh, here it is. No. It was somewhere else I read it. I think I just looked up what Harvard or somebody passed it to me. But Harvard says if you don't quote some shit, it's plagiarism. So the only saving grace I had was the dictionary, right? So I said, all right, let's type in what does plagiarism mean, right? Like, I just want to make sure. So I typed in plagiarize, and it says take the work or idea of someone else and pass it off as one's own. And that's what I usually think of. I think of idea like you stole my idea, right? So, you know, in a very loose definition of the term, I don't consider her a plagiarist. But according to Harvard and their rules, she plagiarized. She plagiarized according to Harvard's own definition of plagiarism. Okay? So that's a judgment call by Harvard. Harvard's got to go, look, are we going to be lenient on this or are we going to go hard? Now, I believe once she ain't take no stance against that war in the Middle East and the events of October 7th, they were like, all right, let's comb through her shit. Let's comb through her shit. We got to get her the fuck out of here because we don't like the way she's answering these questions in this hearing, right? She's a little bit too bold. These white women succumbed, you know, over at Penn, et cetera. They succumbed. They immediately resigned. They got out of the paint, and they knew better, right? And they were replaced by white Jewish men, and she was replaced by Alan Gerber, another white Jewish man, right? So, again, everything falling back into place. And in line with what we said is part of the design of anti-Semitism is to create right-wing extremism, highlight it, take away rights, and replace. And part of it is going to be replacing people that are in positions of power, right? Specifically with people who are sympathetic to the Zionist agenda. Okay, so I got to tell you, you know, I wanted to see the evidence for myself, and I personally don't consider her work to be plagiarized because they're citing statistics, but there was an instance in here Like this one here, right? This one says, you know, like the one between her and Bobo, I think this is. Where's the one that I was like, yeah, that's definitely plagiarism. Yeah, it's this first one right here. It's this first one right here. The very first example. You gotta anytime you snatch, because I wrote a whole book called The Patriot Report, Unmasked Conspiracy of Money and War, and everything I copy pasted is in quotes and cited at the bottom of every page. I don't go to Harvard, and I knew I had to do that. I knew I had to make sure, especially because I didn't want to publish this book, sell it, and then people come back and go, yo, Hotep Jesus is a fraud, he plagiarized. Because I know how people operate. They look for anything to cancel you when you don't, you know, and when you don't follow a certain agenda. And she definitely left the quotes out. But that is a big thing. That's a serious violation. You gotta include your quotes. I hate that it's that. I hate that, you know, I wanted it to, well, I can't say I wanted it to be, but when they say plagiarize, I'm thinking in my head whole ideas, like an opinion of something. Because that's what I think of when plagiarize. You stole my opinion. You stole my thought. But when you're citing something, and he does say she did provide a reference. So that's, to me, is like, I'm like, you know, she fucked up, but she wasn't malicious, right? It wasn't like blatant plagiarism. It's technical plagiarism, you know? And you gotta have them fucking quotes. And as somebody who went to Harvard, I don't know if she was staying up late nights or what and forgot to put them quotes in, but when you copy pasta some shit, you gotta put your quotes in. Now, I haven't been able to cross-reference with her actual documents because they're behind like some gated walls or something like that. I'll show that to you here. I'm not from academia. Oh, okay. No, I do have access to it. I think. Wait, what? Oh, no, I do. I think what happened was I was viewing it on my phone, and that's why I didn't see this pop up. Wait, introduction. Nah, this isn't the whole document. I'm sorry. No, I was right. No, this isn't the whole document, even though I wasn't even able to see these 24 pages. But you have to like pay for ProQuest or whatever. So I wasn't doing all that shit. Not that important. But so I just want to be clear that I never looked at her original work. I'm taking Chris Rufo's word for it that she didn't include the quotes, and I'm assuming he's thorough enough to not fuck that up. So I'm gonna take his word for it. You know, it is in fact technically plagiarism. The very first Grift Report I watched was HJ having someone from Twitter call and defend how he stole tweets without giving someone props. Yeah. Let me see what else the chat is saying. And I don't think this is the real reason why she was let go. I think the real reason why she was let go or resigned had to do with the October 7th events. Protocol said, I've seen a teacher hit someone with plagiarism when saying a straight fact, like an apple is red in most cases. Yeah, it's really weird how academia works. It's just really weird. It's just really weird. And again, I'm not a product of academia, so. Nas said, people want to make it seem like it was generally bad. I haven't read it, but people making it seem like even if she did cite correctly, it still wasn't worthy. Yeah, like, again, it's like we're talking about someone who didn't include quotation marks. And it's just like, you know, is that really how we want to leave her legacy, as somebody who plagiarized? I wouldn't technically put that on her, but I would say you failed to cite your sources properly, which falls under the code of plagiarism according to Harvard. You know, it's a very sticky situation, okay? Very, very sticky situation. Now I think we should just talk about the right, okay? Because the right is partly responsible for this takedown, as we have Chris Rufo involved here. And the other lady, Swain, or whatever her name is, we got Swain involved here. And so there is some, you know, right-wing leanings and celebrations of this, but for me, it's just a tactical error. It's a tactical error. You know, anybody who studied war knows you never, ever correct your enemy when they make a mistake. You just don't. So if the left wants to operate off something that is not a meritocracy, that means that the cream of the crop will not rise to the top, which means long term you're going to have an advantage if you are playing by the meritocracy rule or the meritocracy standard. So really what you did was you actually made Harvard more powerful.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
You got rid of an alleged incompetent black woman who was allegedly a diversity hire, right? So you got rid of their diversity hire and then put Alan Garber in, who is probably more competent at the job, white, male, Jewish, right? Probably more competent at the job, and is going to be able to push the agenda of Harvard forward even better. Not to mention who else they might pick, because he's just interim. So you've interrupted your opponent while they were making a mistake, which is why this is a tactical error. You're supposed to never interrupt your enemy when they are making a mistake. The Art of War, Sun Tzu. It's that simple. What's a good book on war that's not The Art of War? You got to look at Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. He got like 3 volumes or something like that. And then you got the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene. Those are 2 war books. And then you got to do one on Hannibal. You got to find a book on Hannibal or Caesar. Caesar has some pretty good tactical. Who was the other? Genghis Khan was the other tactical general as well. As well as United States had a couple of generals that I would say, you know, start with those books I just told you, but go study generals. If you study like biographies of generals and shit like that, you'll get a nice idea of these things. But Sun Tzu is definitely a great place to start. It's a really quick read. So yeah, it's a tactical error by the right, you know. So which brings us to my presentation. And let's get to it. The woke right.
I wish all the black people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the white people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the Hispanics were as smart as Hotep Jesus. Because that guy, he really gets it. He knows how to boil it down.
Excuse me as I just adjust my screen here and we dive right into this featured presentation with my lovely PowerPoint assistant. All right. The woke right. So the takedown of Claudine definitely made me think about this, right? And you're going to see as we go through, you know, how they fit the mold of being now the woke right. So let's begin. First things first. They have adopted a victim mindset. This has been the catalyst of the left for a really long time. Woe is me. And the right now is picking this up, where they're complaining about how white men are talked about in the media, etc., etc. Woe is me. It's the same story, same agenda, new people. When black men were talking about how we were being talked about in the media, quoted as thugs and super predators, it was
pull yourself up by the bootstraps, stop complaining, etc., etc. Now that the media has turned their aim because they've conquered the black intelligentsia, we probably have to start right there and talk about how they conquered the black intelligentsia. So the black intelligentsia was conquered right at the rise of Barack Obama. Technically, Barack Obama signifies the death of black intelligentsia. He destroys and kills black intelligentsia by default. One of it is because black intelligentsia went to sleep. They thought the work was done because they have a black president. Another thing is, you know, people like H. Rap Brown, Khalid Muhammad disappear around that same exact time, right? So let's take a look at that really fast. Can I duplicate this? Copy. Oh, I can. Perfect. All right, let's do this. Let's close that. Let's open up a new one of these. And I just want to show you something so you guys can see. Somebody actually commended me. They said, yo, like, the Hoteps are so thorough. They show you everything. So we got H. Rap Brown, right? Here we got H. Rap Brown, right? And then you see here, hold on. Let me just fix this. All right, so here we got H. Rap Brown. And you see right here, he's now serving a life sentence. Year 2000. Barack Obama becomes president when? Barack Obama is president 2009. 2009, right? So you got H. Rap Brown. He's gone at 2000. Let's do Khalid Muhammad. Khalid Muhammad, he's gone 2001, right? And then, so the black intelligentsia, and there's more. I just can't think of any right now, but there's more. Who's another one, chat? Oh man. I'm gonna get to the other ones later, but I want to start here. All right, so let me just move on from here, right? So what you have is like these guys, you know, he suffers from a brain aneurysm, another one gets locked up, and then Barack Obama becomes. Now, Barack Obama is sort of the dawn of wokeism, right? And BLM is born under Barack Obama. Okay. So BLM is born under Barack Obama, right? Now, what had existed was, you know, something called the conscious movement. Right? All right, here we go. They actually have a Wikipedia page on this. Wow, this is interesting. So what you had was what they called the conscious movement, and Wikipedia has a page on this. And what you had was, this was a rise in the 90s of just like this strong black power movement, for lack of a better term. Okay, here we go. We got some names right here. Cress Wilson, when did she pass? I feel like she was, 2016. So Cress Wilson was 2016. She had already been gone. Diop, I think Diop died in the 80s, right? When did Diop die? Yeah, Diop was in the 86. GM James, Ivan Van Sertima. When did we lose Van Sertima? Van Sertima, 2009, we lose Ivan Van Sertima, okay? This is the list I was looking for. I'm glad I found this. Van Sertima, again, 2009, same year Barack Obama. Amos Wilson, Chancellor Williams, John Henrik Clark. I'm just going by all the names we know. Dr. Ben. All right, so let's go. When did Amos Wilson? Amos Wilson, 95, he dies. Chancellor Williams, 92. John Henry Clark, 98. Dr. Ben, I remember. Dr. Ben, yeah, because this is the most recent. 2015, Dr. Ben dies, right? So, like, as wokeism is being born, our intelligentsia is actually dying off. They're dying off in the 80s, the 90s, and then the 2000s. Our intelligentsia, like the people speaking that real black power shit, that real Hotep shit, are dying off. And they're not being replaced. People are going to Harvard to get educated, and they're getting wokeified, okay? So then you get the dawn of Sonetta. Is that here? Does Sonetta have a... Okay, so Sonetta doesn't have a Wikipedia page. So some of you guys don't know about this, but you got Sonetta, right? And here it is, Sonetta TV. And this is... and Sa has a whole bunch of transgressions and things that people don't like about him. And there's things I don't like about him. But you can't deny his work of putting together some of the greatest minds like Dr. Kaba Khamenei and Shaka Akmos, and the list goes on. Even Captain Tazariak and the Hebrew Israelites, and, you know, bringing all those different minds together, right? So this starts taking off, right? The Sonetta Studios and the conscious community in Harlem starts taking off like right around the time before BLM gets popular. Okay? Matter of fact, is there a way we can go to his most popular? Okay, so let's go to popular. So yeah, 8 years ago, you get, this is a hot view, 8 years ago, 8 years ago, 8 years ago, 8 years ago. So his most popular stuff is 8 years ago. Okay? So like I said, right before the rise of BLM and their power. In fact, let's look at the year on this. Hold on, what is this? Popular.
And how much?
8 years ago, 2015. Yes, okay. So some of these videos, most popular, are like 2015 somewhat, but and leading up to that, right? Let me go back to popular and see if I can find anything older. Ooh, 8 years ago, 8 years ago, 8 years ago. Oh, I'm missing Bobby Hemmett and Phil Valentine. You got Bobby Hemmett and Phil Valentine. Shahrazad Ali, right? These are people that are still alive right now that are in our intelligentsia, that are in black intelligentsia, that they don't put the microphone and camera in front of. You know, when you talk about black conservatives, I think of Shahrazad Ali. This is who I think of, okay? I don't think of Candace Owens, no diss to her. She's a former leftist, admittedly, right? But I think of Shahrazad Ali. I think of Phil Valentine. These are the names that come to mind, right? Here's Shaka right here that you see on the screen, and then Phil Valentine, right? So our intelligentsia gets replaced, and it gets replaced with people who are educated by the white Ivy League. And we're going to come back to that in a second. Okay. And what they do is the white Ivy League takes black power and turns it into victim mindset. Yeah, where is Bobby Hemmett? Somebody said he's still around. Brother Panic just died. Yeah. X-Clan, right, word. You had all these different things, right? So, have I ever thought about writing another book? Yeah, I am. I'm just studying to write the book. I have a lot of studying to do before I write my next book. I don't just write books for money. I have to actually care about the subject. And I have a political book I started, but again, like I said, I want to do like a super deep dive in education. So if I'm not an expert in money, I don't think we can talk about politics. So you get the victim mindset, and that's what is taking over the woke right. And the woke right is traveling down the same path that the black community did from the 90s. The woke right. Number two, the woke right have become complainers. And again, this isn't, castigation of everybody that's on the right or defaulted to be deemed on the right. It's mostly your influencer class, because complaining equals clicks. Clicks equals dollars, engagement. So they're engagement farming. So complaining means engagement farming. And this is how, again, you come back to the woke right and the right becoming woke. The next thing we're going to talk about is inequality. What did the woke left complain about? Inequality. You see, the conscious Hoteps, the conscious black community, what were they talking about? The conscious black community was talking about black power, and they switched it to Black Lives Matter, right? They were talking about building these people that are complaining about inequality. And really what this comes down to is diversity, equity, inclusion, wanting to be included, wanting a seat at the white man's table. They want to drink the white man's water. The Black Power movement, the conscious movement, was not interested in those things. They were interested in education, self-education, particularly about racial identity. Racial identity. That's what a lot of this stuff is about. Let's go back and I'll show you. Most of these battles that were on side of this program were about racial identity. Let's see if we can find an example here on the popular ones. So right here, understanding the Ankh and the science of Kemet. Right. So this is knowledge of self. Here's a nice video by Phil Valentine, knowing the law, contracts, and status correction. Right. So this is the difference between being woke and being conscious. Okay. And the right is falling into the same trap where they are not educating, they are just complaining. But this is what they had to stop. They had to stop black people from knowing the law and understanding contracts and their status in society. Okay. What else is another good one here? There's a lot of drama and beef. Sumeria versus Kemet. So they talked about ancient Sumeria. So like a lot of history is going on and discussed on this channel. Spirituality is what these people are talking about. Sisters going natural. Again, coming back to racial identity. Okay. 4 years ago, exposing the rap industry. So there's the things that, you know, the right wants to talk about. This is stuff we were discussing. Okay. What else do we have here? I've given you enough, but here is another good one. Phil Valentine. What is a man? Right. This is something that people don't understand now. They don't know a man from a woman, et cetera, et cetera. Right. Genetics. All non-Africans have Neanderthal blood. All non-Africans have Neanderthal blood. The white man is a light-skinned African, right? So they talk about genetics. Okay. And so anyway, Freemasonry. They're talking about, here's Shaka right now talking about Freemasonry. Okay. So the information here is much different than BLM. Much, much different BLM. Okay. It's coming back. So instead of harping about racial identity, the conscious movement was talking about real shit and rooting their racial identity in history. Whereas nowadays with the right, we don't see the same thing. Okay. Let's go to the next one. And so, no, before we go to the next one, racial identity, we got to talk about white identitarianism, where you got the Fed accounts, which we'll talk about in a little bit. You got the Fed accounts. And if you guys have more things to add to this, you know, this is basically 14 ways that or I should say 13 ways that the right is becoming like the woke left. If you have one to add to this, please show me. But you see the racial identity now, where they're sympathizing with the white South Africans and their plight. Meanwhile, they say that they're America first. You see it with the end wokeness accounts, where they want to drudge up videos of white people getting beat by black people, where they're complaining about the way that the left talks about white people, but at the same time they want to claim that they're colorblind. Well, if you're colorblind, you wouldn't identify as white. You wouldn't be able to see your whiteness. You wouldn't care that they're talking about white people because you wouldn't identify as white. So there's some hypocrisy. The next thing is cancel culture. The right involves themselves in cancel culture. We've seen this time and time again. And they have a lot to do with the resignation of Claudine Gay. All right? And they're taking credit for it. They're happy. They're applauding their ability to get somebody fired from their job. The same thing they complained that the left was about is the same acts that they're participating in. Same thing. And they'll make up lies about you. And that's not all of them, but they'll make up lies about you, or try to drudge up something from your past, or I've seen all these conservative influencers fight amongst each other. They say, oh, well, this guy was sleeping with this lady's wife and all this other shit, and we got to cancel him. And so they engage in cancel culture, right? We saw this happen with Candace Owens. When Candace Owens said she didn't support the Zionists after October 7th, the Zionists came out as a whole horde to try and cancel her, right? Condemn her actions, right? We do not want to work with her anymore, is what these people were saying, right? And not Daily Wire, because she's still an employee at Daily Wire, I believe. But we saw this happen with Candace Owens, their darling, as soon as she departed. So it seems like along with wokeism comes Zionism. Those two things seem to go hand in hand. So whether it's wokeism on the right or wokeism on the left, Zionism is going to come into play, right? And we saw this with legislation passed that basically says you can't say certain things about Zionism. In fact, mentioning Zionism or criticizing Zionism is now deemed anti-Semitic. And I think, Florida has some laws against this now that DeSantis passed, which is completely against the First Amendment. So, again, they still participate in cancel culture because they don't say nothing about these bills being passed, right? They're like, well, they're talking about Jewish people, so it doesn't count as protected free speech, right? And I'm telling you right now, I love Jewish people. I got a whole bunch of Jewish homies. They're my motherfucking people. You know what I mean? I love my white folks I fuck with. I love the black folks I fuck with. I don't discriminate based upon your background. If you ready to come in and fuck with me and we could work together, let's do it. Let's do it. GTA 6, thank you. They tried to cancel GTA 6. How you gonna cancel GTA 6? The leftists were the first ones to cancel GTA 6. I'm glad y'all brought that up. Because at first it used to be the leftists trying to cancel GTA 6. Then they saw the booty shaking and they go, oh, we got to cancel this because they got booty shaking in the game. Meanwhile, the game been had booty shaking. It's just white girls was booty shaking. But if you actually played Grand Theft Auto, you got to listen to the radio. I swear, Grand Theft Auto was the one video game that has seemed to somehow dodge wokeism. Like, they talk shit about wokeism. If you got to listen to the radio stations that talk radio. If you listen to talk radio on GTA 6, you would be a fan if you are a conservative. You'd be like, yeah, I agree with this guy. Even Trevor, some of the things Trevor said, even though he was a flaming homosexual, even some of the things he said were very pro-Trumpish. And he was the main character in the game. GTA Radio is based. Yes, GTA Radio is quite based. So, again, just people talking about shit that they don't know anything about. GTA was pre-woke. GTA 5 was pre-woke. So we're going to have to see what happens with GTA 6. I have faith. I believe they're not going to wokeify GTA 6. I have that feeling. But I hope I'm right. Now, how else is the right becoming like the woke left? Sexual liberation. They are practicing sexual liberation. Bryson Gray comes out and he says, yo, this calendar is demonic. Now, I wouldn't use that exact language. I wouldn't say the calendar is demonic. I also wouldn't disagree with him. I'd go, he's got every right to speak up, right? And I said this before when we covered this topic. I said, you need people like Bryson to keep y'all in check, to make sure you're not veering too far left. And what you had Seth come in, sell y'all beer and boobs. Beer and boobs are not American. Beer and boobs are Marxism. They are, matter of fact, let's get really deep into this shit. The anti-Semites will point you to, I'll show you right now. Hold on. I'm gonna show you something about that the anti-Semites drudge up that is actually historically true. Let's go right here. So what you'll have is stories pop up. Why does this look like this? I thought I created a new one. All right, that's fine. So what you have is Jews were exempt during Prohibition. Now, historical fact, especially in Russia, Jews ran the alcohol industry. So you can't really be on the far right and hate Jews because they're the ones that really pushed alcohol on you. If you like alcohol, you gotta like Jewish people. It's just a fact of the matter, okay? So when you're talking about pre-Bolshevik Revolution Russia, Jews were controlling, I'm not gonna say the majority because I don't know how much, but much of the alcohol industry was peddled by Jews. And then there's this conspiracy theory that says Jews were sidestepping prohibition and became bootleggers. That's a story for another day. I'll leave that up to y'all to go investigate, right? Well, what else were Jews pushing, particularly that Adolf wanted to get rid of? Well, Adolf wanted to get rid of sexual liberation. He thought, according to his own words, that Jews were pushing sexual liberation, debauched culture, debauched artwork. This is what he said. This is what this thing was. Right? Now, what they do is they draw that correlation between the Bolsheviks saying that the Bolsheviks are majority Jews. So you can't really hate Bolshevism and not hate Jews, although they're not real Jews. Shit gets really complicated really fast, right? So much of what was brought to you by Jewish people. Hollywood, brought to you by Jewish people. America was created by Jewish people. Your concept of what American was created partly by Jewish people. Your Hollywood is created. This is a very good book called Hollywood, The Invention of Jewish People, written by a Jewish man. And it shows you all the companies that are big today, created by Jewish people. And Jewish people were very prominent in the sexual liberation movement, particularly pornography. What's the dude's name? The short dude with the mustache? Who, Jeremy something. But you'll see a lot of that. You'll see a crossover between Jewish people and pornography, right? Okay. So you've adopted this. You liked it. So that's why I said you can't even blame it on Jewish people, because you liked it. And Jewish people didn't invent alcohol. They didn't invent the theater. That was Caesar. Even Caesar didn't invent it, but Caesar popularized it. The Greeks popularized it. So they took your inventions and used them for their own. Ron Jeremy, thank you. Ron Jeremy, that's him. So now you have Beer and Boobs as your culture. You've accepted Beer and Boobs as your culture. How fucking backwards is that? In China, it's about fucking honor and being good at math. And you guys got Beer and Boobs. You got the short end of the fucking stick. So now you got the calendar floating around, which is pushing Beer and Boobs on you. Now, when Bryson says something, you didn't have to react. You chose to react, but your reaction was one of sexual liberation, saying, no, let these women be sexy. Let's sell sex. It's the American way. So you chose to sell sex, which makes you very much like the left. You're supposed to be the side that says, no, cover up. We don't want the calendar. But because you're friends with the people on the calendar, I'm friends with people on the calendar. Kim K is my homie. I love Kim K. She's fucking amazingly gorgeous. She's a very attractive woman. Shout out to Kim Klacik. But the calendar's haram. It's haram. Now, that's not to say that I wouldn't enjoy looking at a calendar of Kim Klacik. Absolutely, I would. But I wouldn't want to teach that to my kids. I wouldn't want to make that part of my culture. I wouldn't even want to make it part of my own personal culture. To oogle over women. I got an article I'm going to write about that too, about oogling over women and what that does to men. There's a problem with that. There's a serious problem with that. There's a problem with discipline, self-control. And sexual self-control is the ultimate form of control. So if you can't practice the ultimate form of control, that means you're susceptible to all other types of lack of discipline. So anyway, you get the sexual liberation. I wish I had time to put pictures with all of this stuff. Next up, the right becoming like the woke left. LGBTism. You got trans in the right. What? What? You got trans people in the right. You got the L, you got the G, and you got the B. From a distance, I can't tell the difference. Next up, you got feds amongst your ranks. Your popular accounts of feds, former feds, current feds, anonymous feds. Just like the left, you have been infected with feds. I don't even got to explain that. Let's move on. We're going to go to the phone lines. Text Hotep in your name to 202-596-5631. 202-596-5631. Another way that you are like the woke left, you have no goals. What are your goals? You are goalless. You are wandering people without an aim. I could have also called this 13 reasons why the right are the new niggas. Because new niggas are goalless. Which brings us to our next point. Actually, no, let me change this. It should be in this order. We got to go here. When you're goalless, you become a status. Everything around you becomes solved through the state. Go vote. Go vote. That's the PSYOP. That's the PSYOP. Go vote. You got a problem? Go vote. Not you got a problem, go fix it. Not you got a problem, let's find a solution. It's no, we got a problem, go vote. because your intelligentsia has been infiltrated by the status. So statism is a form of your religion, where every time you have a problem, you want to ask the state to solve it. Oh, people are having abortions. State got to solve it. People are doing this. State got to solve it. Now, the only thing I believe the state should solve is illegal immigration. Well, I won't say the only thing, but the one thing that people are talking about today, the state got to do something about that. Texas, you know, whatever. These states got to say no to this shit. This shit is just foul. There's nothing we can do about that other than take up arms and forcibly remove these people ourselves. They're in my state. They're in New Jersey. That's something, you know, I'd be locked up for. If I went down to the gym where they're holding these people with my rifle and said, you motherfuckers got to go, I'm going to get arrested. Okay? So the state going to just lock my ass up. So I can't really do anything about that. So that is something you might have to vote for. But at the end of the day, these people are status. Next up, why they are like the left. Because they're corporate and they're collegiate. Look at the people amongst their ranks. These are all collegiate motherfuckers. These are all these dweebs, corny motherfuckers that went to college and got indoctrinated by the same universities as the lefties. So they've been indoctrinated by the same bullshit. They feed, the thing is that they have one interpretation of the bullshit and the left has another interpretation of bullshit, but they all are interpreting bullshit. And that's the trick to get you. And the other thing is these people are all corporate. All these people come from corporate America. These motherfuckers, these niggas don't fucking, they don't saw no wood, pause. They ain't hammering no nails. They not real, man. They not fixing nothing. These dudes is corporate dweebs. And the conservative women be telling me they can't fucking change a tire and all types of shit. You hear me? So these are corporate and collegiate dweebs. They come from the same world as the white leftists. Now, I'll save the best one for the last. That you know the woke right. No, it's not the best for the last. We got another one. Vaccines. What did your favorite pundits tell you? Sorry, Scott Adams, you my boy, I lay you to death, but you was pushing them vaccines. You was wrong. Trump, pushing them vaccines. You was wrong. Ben Shapiro, you was pushing them vaccines. You were wrong. And there are many more of the right becoming like the woke left. Okay. Last one. They are sheep. They are sheep. They are sheep. Why are they sheep? Because they're all corralled into the same arena. You know how a dog will corral sheep? You don't think for yourself and go, wait, what's over here? No, they corral you. Let's talk about abortion. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. Nah, how about we talk about Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution? Everybody want to talk about the Constitution. Nobody want to talk about Article 1, Section 8. Maybe I need to cite a source for that. Where'd you learn that, Hotep Jesus? Article 1, Section 8. Article 1, Section 8. Who's talking about that? It's too intellectual for the common folks, so they don't talk about it. Right? But that's what we talk about on the channel. Article 1. Hold on, let's pull it up. Article 1, Section 8. My browser knows who I am, so they pulled this right up. Right here. Article 1, Section 8. What does it say? Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts and provide the common defense and general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, excise shall be uniform throughout the United States. To borrow money on the credit of the United States. To borrow money on the credit of the United States. Article 1, Section 10. Coin money. Emit bills of credit. Said no state shall enter any. So that falls under the government. So why are we not talking about money? Excuse me. They don't talk about the important things. Why? Because y'all controlled by the same entity. Corrals you into the same topics. Every day you wake up, it's like Groundhog Day. Y'all arguing about the same shit. He says your Christmas jingles were created by Jewish people. You would not have white culture without Jewish people. I'm telling you right now. There's nothing that you could. That's why I say you cannot be America first and not Israel first, because the two entities are so much fucking alike, bro. 30%. Was it 30% of Congress is Jewish? What's the number? I don't know. Can't do shit without Jewish people. They think for you. They're your brain. So you cannot decouple them from the United States. Retro Neon, I think it's time to take the right back and push out the woke right. Liberals in conservative clothing. To me, like you, Cassius Cam, Unk, Ack, represent what being conservative is all about. I hear you. That sound cute and all, but I don't associate with the right. I don't associate with conservatism. You know what I associate with? Hotep. That's what we is. We Hoteps. Don't put us in this box of right versus left. Don't put us in. Don't. That is the trick. The trick was to create a duopoly, to create two parties. Now your founding fathers said this was a sin. They never wanted it to be two parties. But the trick was to divide it between left and right. That is the trick. So if you choose conservative, you're hoodwinked. If you choose liberal, you're hoodwinked. You remove all nuance and turn yourself into factions. Gang warfare. Red versus blue. People talk shit about the Bloods and the Crips, but how much blood is spilt between the Democrats and Republicans? Same colors, same gangbanging. That is the trick. To divide people based upon this very vague line of political ideology. When really, political ideology cannot be defined with some sort of 2D axis diagram thingamajiggy. It's not left and right. It's a sphere. And I've said this before. I said it on Gutfeld. The political arena is a sphere. And at the center, let's pull this back up on your screen so you can see it. Because anytime you're talking about this stuff, this is what you're talking about. You're talking about the state. You're talking about politics. You're talking about the state. So at the center is the state. The farther you move away from the center, the less you want the state involved in your life. So the difference between the right and the left is very little, except that they're on one coordinates of the one set of coordinates in the sphere, and the left is on another set of coordinates in the sphere. And everybody wants the state involved in their life somehow, some way. Hoteps are on the outside of the sphere, where it's like, we just want the military might to protect us from foreign invaders. We don't really need you to do much else. We don't need you to manage our money, et cetera, et cetera. We can do that ourselves, you know? Whereas the right says, oh, no, we need the state involved because of abortion. And the left says we need the state involved because of abortion. But at the same time, they're both asking for the state to be involved. They're both asking the Supreme Court, can you tell us dumbasses what to do? That's really what it boils down to. So don't get caught up in the left versus right, because that is what makes you a sheep. Either this or that. No, you have more options between this or that. There's a whole discussion and nuance and details that they don't want you discussing. They want you divided up into factions. I don't got no beef with the left. I don't got no beef with the right. I don't got no beef with the leftists. Sometimes I agree with them. Sometimes I agree with the right. I showed you today when we did Claudine Gay. I looked at it and I was like, to me, it's not plagiarism, but according to the book, it's plagiarism. So she plagiarized. Hotep's going to call it straight down the middle, right? In my personal opinion, she didn't plagiarize. But according to the book, she did. It's calling it straight. That's not left or right. It's calling it spade to spade. Just is what it is. So, with that being said, let's go to the phone lines. Text Hotep your name to 202-596-5631. 202-596-5631. And I'll be right back after this short, brief commercial break.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How I'm supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in.
How'd you get that done so quick?
They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there. You understand?
You guys finished your work 6 hours early?
He's not tapped in.
We got Goldstein on the check. And Goldstein, what's good, man?
What's happening?
What's good with him, man?
Same old. Well, look, I love that presentation. That was a great presentation.
Thank you.
I do have some shit that I see that maybe can add to. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to add to it.
I noticed that, okay, you had the woke left for a while, right? They've been around for a while, but like anything else, they didn't just drop into the game in their final form. There were stages of that bullshit.
Right.
And I feel that it culminated in its final form, which was, for lack of a better term, a religious extremism.
Okay.
This is what drove everybody away from their ass, including liberals, like even gay ones who were like, I don't know what the fuck this T shit is, right? And then they became dogmatic in their approach to all these beliefs that were handed down from the ivory towers of the colleges, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Gender ideology, all this other shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think all that gay shit and all the other shit are like symptoms of the disease. And I even think Marxism is a symptom of the disease.
Okay.
And that disease manifesting itself in the right in the same fashion is giving way to the same, almost in a pattern-esque way, the same development. So the parallels are out of control, like even down to how the word woke meant one thing, it was usurped and became a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm.
The white version of that is red pill. And when it first started, it meant one thing, and now it means some whole bastardized version of what it used to mean.
Facts. Good point. Good analogy.
So I look at the symptoms of the disease as not necessarily being the disease. And the one thing that the right is missing at this current juncture is that dogmatic religious approach to the shit.
Mm.
And I think that's where Christian nationalism comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you really look at the shit that they believe, it's not the shit that their book tells them to believe. It's a bastardized version of the shit that their book tells them to believe. So you could say that Marxism being the altar at which the fucking left worshiped at, Christianity in this country being the altar at which the right worships at, if those are not the end games, if those are not the foundations on which the shit is built, because it's a bastardized version of it, one would have to assume that coming down the pike, the right is going to have the same level of religious extremism that you've seen with the left, just at a different altar. And this is why I feel like people like the MAGA rapper, people like other people who are in that sphere, who may seem to be pushing against the symptoms like homosexuality infiltrating the right, all this other shit. What they are is the beginning, the first wave of transforming the right to its final form. And so, you know, all this weird shit that the right allegedly is doing, like letting in gays, letting in this, being this way and that way, how they were never before, those are all things that I believe are being utilized as a catalyst to create the woke right, not necessarily is the woke right. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you can't have that level of fucking transformative thought without having some type of fucking religious approach to it.
Correct.
And the left for the most part has been somewhat godless. So their approach doesn't contain the imagery and all that shit of the right. But just because you may say God and Jesus and the Bible and yada yada, that does not mean a damn thing. It's in what you do, not what you say.
Right.
Because like anything else, and what we have seen time and time again on the left, words seem to, you go to sleep, they mean one thing, you wake up the next day, they mean a whole other fucking thing with them.
Yeah.
And that same shit will happen on the right. But like I said, the foundation on which they're built, allegedly, is Christianity. So there's going to be a bastardized version of that. It's not going to look like, oh, all these Christians are becoming gay and fornicators now. That's not how that's going to look. It's going to be all these Christians are becoming extreme Christians. But it's just, like I said, a bastardized version of Christianity, to where they're like, well, we feel it's okay to jump on Twitter and castigate an entire swath of motherfucking people that claim to be Christians, even though the book tells us specifically not to do that. You know, and that's how I see the final form of this woke right looking. Very religious, very stern, very strict, and just as oppressive and insane as the final form of the woke left.
So I'm with you up until the part about, because I think they're going to be a godless people. And they're not going to adhere to the book, the Bible, Christianity, etc. They're going to change the rules. You mentioned that just a minute ago, that, you know, they'll be much more lenient. But I think these people are going to be a godless people. They'll.
You think so?
Yeah, because if you're going to go down the same path of the left, you're going to go down the same path of atheism. Marxism is going to lead to atheism. And I think that's where the right is headed, because when you have your leadership bastardize your religion, eventually you're going to see how bad your religion was bastardized, and you're going to come to not respect it any longer. So over the long term, the right will not be attached to religion, just like the left lost respect for Christianity over the course of the years because of the bastardization of the religion. So once the right sees that their influencers have bastardized and used it against them, they will begin to become a godless people. But even if they're not godless in their rhetoric, they'll be godless in their behavior.
I see. I don't know, man. Like, even on the left, the people who were allegedly woke 20 years ago have completely, and here's the parallel, they've completely lost faith in what they thought was the ideal worldview because of how extreme it tipped.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same thing is going to happen on the right. Like, normal motherfuckers are now seeing this weird version of the right crop up, and they're like, this is not correct.
Mm.
And as they become more and more, like, as they start to take more and more power within the political sphere of that party, they will become just as oppressive, just as insane.
Well, they will become oppressive.
Yeah. And people will see that and be like, this is not right. This is not okay. So they will ultimately lose faith. But you'll have this small minority group, this extreme faction, that becomes the loudest voice in the room.
Yes, until everybody comes to Hotepistan, because that's what's going to happen. Everybody's going to get turned off. They're going to look for other options. They're going to turn to the Hoteps, and that's when we bring them right back to the light of God.
Right.
No.
Because everything's about balance. Like,
mm-hmm.
I personally believe if there's a spiritual perspective that's preached in every religion seeks to establish some type of equilibrium between yourself, nature, and God, in that order.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start tipping the scales too far in any direction, whether it be too far right, too far left, that's when all kinds of dumb shit starts happening, because you're unbalancing shit within your life, within the lives of others, yada, yada, yada. And so, I don't know. I don't see the woke right looking like a bunch of fucking weird, fornicating ass not publicly anyway. Privately, yeah.
No,
but
publicly they will look like that.
In
20 years. In 20 years, the left will be like frogs and the right will look like the left in 20 years or less. 20 years or less. Be interesting. They got trans people.
Yeah, but
that would never be allowed 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Not at all.
And in 20 years, these motherfuckers gonna be fucking pedophiles.
Yeah. But if you look at the things that occurred to drive the left insane, it was a heavy-handed approach to their existence in a lot of different areas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing that's happening with the right. There was a heavy-handed approach by the left to their existence. So this is just basically a reaction, a swinging back of the pendulum, as it were. And it always goes back equally, if not further. And so it's gonna be bad. Like, everything is so fucking
it's gonna be real bad.
Yeah, it's just so goddamn crazy with fucking whoredom and fornication that the only way this pendulum can swing back in an oppressive manner, just as oppressive, is religiosity. To the point of, like, actually executing motherfuckers, because that's the type of time religious extremism has always been on throughout history.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think that it's a gang who it's a tight-knit club, okay? These people that go to these events and hang out together, and they protect each other. So it's not about ideals or ideas. It's not about that. It's about the gang and what the gang wants. If you talk against the gang, they'll lynch you, right? And that's what it's going to come down to. So if the gang decides gay people are allowed, gay people are allowed. If the gang decides trans people are allowed, trans people are allowed. And anybody who tries to out the gang will be eliminated, right? Like, for example, look at the Epstein list. How many days we've been waiting on this? Still ain't dropped? Because you got to protect the gang. This is bipartisan. That these weird
It's all
motherfuckers
bad.
is doing shit.
It's all bad, man.
It is.
Like there's a prophecy in the Bible about the whore being devoured by the beast.
Mm-hmm.
That's the woke right and the woke left right there.
Yeah.
The whore and the beast.
Correct. Angelia says the calendar girls were all my body, my choice. That's facts.
Yeah.
That's facts. They went my body, my choice. They turned into left. There's sexual liberation. And the men protected them. I didn't say shit because, I don't get involved in this shit. I ain't say, well, actually, I did say something, but it was a joke. But I'm not choosing side amongst, this bullshit. I saved my thoughts for the Grift Report, so everybody knows my insight. But, the right should have been like, yeah, we're not hating on self, but fuck that calendar. Because that's not what we stand for. And they didn't do that. The women, they were all sexual liberators.
Right. It's like, listen, there's certain things that just are what they are. There's horse shit. There is big time horse shit going on, right? There's weird shit with the calendar, weird shit with the cake. It is what it is. What I don't like is when people don't own shit. I hate that.
Yeah.
So like if you were on there, goddamn well you were doing the calendar to sexualize yourself and entice motherfuckers into buying it. Admit that.
You gotta admit that, yeah. You're selling
But
sex.
on the flip side of that, it is not the existential crisis that all these weird motherfuckers on the right are talking about.
Also true.
It's business as usual amongst humanity. Now, if you want to talk existential crises, the calendar was probably a significant and unique and very effective way of diverting your attention away from those.
Right. Away from the real topics, yeah.
Right. So you have to be smarter than that and be like, yeah, this is some horse shit, but it's the least of our concerns.
Correct.
Let's focus on this motherfucking Fed.
Yes.
All right. Let's focus on the Federal Reserve from now until we fucking fix the problem of the Federal Reserve.
Right.
Fuck all that extra shit. Calendars, cakes. What is today? Oh, you could add motherfucking Green Day to the list now. Motherfuckers are bitching about a fucking fake ass punk band today because of their performance on New Year's Eve. You got motherfuckers now bitching about what was that shit I saw Matt Walsh talking about today?
Yeah.
It's just
Star Wars.
Weird shit.
Star Wars. Now they complaining about Star Wars. First of all, first of all, I thought Disney was already canceled.
Right.
They said Disney was canceled. So now, and I meant to bring that up during the complaining slide where they complain. That's today's complaint. Oh, Star Wars. What? Y'all worried about this fake ass galaxy? Again, created by who? A Jew. Right?
Right.
And this is what you worried about? This is what you distracted by? A fucking movie?
Yeah.
Ridiculous,
A
bro.
fake ass galaxy far, far away.
Right.
So yeah, I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings sometimes. But then when I start feeling that way, a deep wave of depression just sweeps over me.
Right.
It's just like, fuck, man. I don't really want to see what tomorrow brings when I think about it. So this is one of those things, the duality of man. But I'm going to let you get back to it, though.
All right, man. Appreciate
Great
you.
presentation.
Thanks, man.
All right, bro.
Hotep and Bill.
Hotep and Bill.
Strong Dad on the check-in. Trish, text that number if you want to get in here. You know you got preferential treatment. What is this? The Cat Williams. I gotta watch that. That interview sounds wild. Look at this. Star Wars trending. This is what y'all arguing about? Free advertising. This is free. I wouldn't have known Star Wars was coming out with a new movie unless they told me. So now this is what y'all complaining about? Why is Lululemon trending?
Call from Trish. You know you got
Trish, what up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. What's up? What's on your mind? My sis Trish on the phone right now. What's going on?
I tuned in late because I'm working my ass off.
All
But
good.
first thing first, your dreads look amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, they look great. You look very Bob-esque. And on that note, I don't know. So totally off topic, but you know, they're coming out with a Bob Marley movie. It's probably around his birthday.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've seen the guy that they picked to play him. It's an American director, and the guy they picked to play him is British, which is fine because Bob's dad is British and he has ties to Britain. Great. But this guy looks like a fruitcake, and I'm a little upset about it.
No way.
He doesn't. Why not get like Tamani to play? Like maybe even
one of the
Steven's
sons.
a little fat now, but Ziggy even like play your father.
Right.
Anyway, so that's just atrocious. But your dreads look awesome.
Oh, thank you.
So again, I'm picked up. I just listened to Goldstein's thing, but I don't want to talk about the corny ass conservatives that conserve nothing because it's a waste of my time. But the one thing I wanted to comment on today was Claudine Gay.
Okay.
Because my thoughts are, did she plagiarize? Absolutely. I guarantee it. And I guarantee pretty much everyone in these institutions has done it. And the reason why I feel that way, proof or not, I guarantee it, is because we've been led down this path of these are the prestigious people, the elite people, the smart people, the experts. And what a lot of us have known for a long time, but what is slowly being unraveled as we're peeling back the onion is that these people are not impressive. There's nothing impressive about these people. You know, Congress people, lawyers, doctors, you know, people in federal agencies, the top of these institutions. So I don't feel bad for this woman. I'm not into cancel culture. I'm into accountability. And she suspended the youngest tenured professor at Harvard for like false allegations of like sexual misconduct.
Yep.
And like didn't even care or bat an eye. And the guy is like amazing, like his body of work and like what he's studying and what he's trying to do. But anyway, they scream about be accountable and can't, like, when is it okay for them to be accountable? You know what I mean? For their trashy takes, for their bullshit and trying to like pull the wool over everyone's eyes. Like, oh, look at us. Like this woman, she went to like Exeter, like, you know, like prep school and like the 3 Ivy Leagues. Like, why do I have to feel like I have to protect her? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when
privileged of the privileged.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, as far like the fact that like that's what they got her on, and here's my thing. When that shit started breaking out on campuses, I am 100% free speech. I don't care how disgusting things are, what people say, it's free speech. When you're on campus, right, you have like, what do they call it? Like codes of conduct and how you have to behave on a campus, okay? Because they have different rules. They still allow most groups to speak, although they probably wouldn't let Ann Coulter come. And if they did, they burn down a couple Starbucks. But what about, just hear me out, and this is a little lame, but there's the head of Harvard is a white straight guy, just let's say.
Okay.
KKK comes, hooded, everything, chanting. That guy wouldn't have lasted an 8-hour business day. He would have been gone. And everyone knows it, but like no one's saying that now.
Yeah.
Should the KKK be allowed to speak? Absolutely. Like no one cares about them. No one's afraid of them, right? They always try to play like, oh, there's like 7 Nazis on a bridge in Florida. Yikes, what is Ron DeSantis doing?
Yeah.
But yet you literally have them all over college campuses. Or, you know, they're cosplaying really because they don't, you know, please. These people have no idea what they're even like spewing. Anyway.
Right.
So my thing is, it's the fact that like we could go into like, oh, it's just because it's the Jews. Like No, you have a code of conduct to protect your students no matter what. So which students are you actually protecting, Claudine? Because you weren't protecting all of them, because you could have just gone into Congress and said, you know what, instead of listening to her lawyers and probably the other people that are head of the Harvard Corporation and all these other meatheads, and said, you know what, I believe in free speech, as vile as it is, as disgusting, but I was wrong, and I should have at least come out and said something about the safety of all students at Harvard.
Yeah.
And she'd have her job.
Yeah.
I guarantee she'd have her job.
Yeah.
But she couldn't do it. So I saw something Unk had posted, something about
she was buckled.
Her bosses, like the bosses still have jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but we're going to come for them too, because they hired her. So they were down for what she was saying.
Right.
And I'm sure a lot of them are Jewish. And they were like, oh, we got to protect her because, you know, she's one of us. It's a different thing. And I get it. And I know everyone's all touchy-feely like, oh, the Jews run everything. Well, good. Go fucking do something with your life. Maybe you can run something too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, I don't care anymore. Like, nobody cared when Donald Trump got kicked off Twitter for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cared when so-and-so got kicked off Twitter. No one cared when that dumb chick in Central Park lost her job and she's still in hiding in Canada for the thing with the bird watcher. Now all of a sudden everyone wants to be like, oh my God, you know, like protect, like black women can't hold positions of power. Not when you're like her. No, you shouldn't, because she's a phony, because she plagiarized, she lied, and she's a fake. And that's kind of all I had to say. I don't know. I'm just tired of it. You know what I mean? Like, really think about it. Like I was trying to say, like, I'm all about free speech. No one said it either. You know good and goddamn well, if there was white hoods on a college campus, never mind an elite, you know, Ivy institution, Ivy League, shit, what? I mean, Joy Reid, Rachel Maddow, I mean, Kamala, everybody, oh my God, we would have had wall-to-wall coverage, and the guy would have been fired. That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody in charge at Harvard, how could you have let them come? How could you not protect your body?
But Jews are niggas. Jews got the same protection as niggas. You talk shit, you bring the KKK down there, it's going to be a problem. You bring the Arab League down there, it's going to be a problem. So Jews get the same protection as black people, right? So she got ousted. Now, she didn't get ousted as fast, because, you know, it wasn't exactly the KKK showing up on campus. It was actually other students. But the fact of the matter is, she did something that most black people are familiar with is, you know, you didn't buck. You didn't capitulate, right? You didn't kowtow, right? So she could have capitulated, but she didn't. She stood on what she believed in. And they don't like niggas like that, right? They want niggas that's going to go along with the fucking game plan, right? And from a PR perspective, I definitely could have handled that shit much better. But she has an agenda she had to stick to with the leftists and being anti-Israel, et cetera, which to me is dumb. You can't be pro-American and anti-Israel. You got to be anti-both. You're the same fucking people. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, right. But to me, too, like, again, if you're supposed to be protecting your students, that means all of your students, but they only pick and choose who they want to protect, whether it's black people or Jewish people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fuck the Asians, like whatever. Like, I think for whatever reason, I'm not taking a side. What I'm saying is, if you're principled, you're principled.
Around the board, across the board.
And that to me, none of these people are, because they, like you said, she had to toe the line. Well, what does she really feel? Did she really be like, yeah, fuck them. Who cares? I hope they all die.
Yeah.
But I don't know. How are you president of a university and you wish half of your student population would die? When Jews weren't even allowed into Harvard probably not so long ago, too.
They were not allowed in. That's correct.
With everybody else, with black people, with women.
Correct.
I mean, we could go along the line.
This country was very anti-Jewish.
Yeah, and anti a lot of other things. So again, I'm not like on a side. I'm just saying, like, if we're going to be principled, which everybody claims they are, that means, and this is where, like, what I get from Sonny. You know, like if you're conservative, if you're a leftist, if you're just politically homeless or whatever, like, what are your principles? And you have to apply it equally.
Yeah.
And not with this some flim flam shit. And like I said, like, yeah, she's taken direction from her bosses or the lawyers or whatever. I mean, she could have been like, you know what? Fuck that.
Yeah.
I believe this, and I don't care that they're saying that. And Israel's shit and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And she could have stood on that if that's what she believed.
But it was really like her attitude. It wasn't really what she said. It was really her attitude and how much she was very emotionless in those hearings, and that's really what disses people. You know, they don't like to see that type of thing where you just, it just seems like you don't give a fuck. Like, people hate that shit when you have an attitude of you just don't give a fuck. And that's the attitude she had, was like, she didn't say it, but her attitude said, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm annoyed that I'm even here.
Correct. And same thing with the other lady who did resign, like, the next day. She smirked. That's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
I get it. Like, you hate fucking Jewish people. Great. But, like, fake it. Like, you do. How are you allowed to be at a prestigious university when you have out, like, I don't know. I can't explain it well enough what I'm trying to say. Like, wipe the smirk off your face, lady. And so that's the thing, too. She resigned immediately.
Yeah.
But no one's really saying anything about her. So is it only because...
Because she resigned immediately. The job was done. And she was replaced by a Jewish man.
At UPenn?
Mm-hmm.
Was she? Yeah, see, I don't know, because I don't follow it or care. But yeah, of course. And like, I can't wait to see who. And now Claudine Gay didn't lose her teaching position. She's still a professor.
Okay.
With, I don't know, she's upwards to $1 million a year.
She's making $947,000 or something like that. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know. This woman is not a stupid woman. You know what I mean? There's like, everyone's always like, oh, Rachel Maddow's stupid. No, she's not. Like, these aren't stupid people. But they're also unimpressive, and they're also not principled, in my opinion.
No, they're not. Definitely not principled.
Like, and I'm at a point in my life, and maybe because I'm older, that I should be able to criticize whoever I want without being called a name.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to criticize you, someone better not come up to me like, oh, you're a racist. Can you criticize Hotep Jesus? That's just a low, dumb, ignorant, like, unintelligent comment.
Yeah.
And I frankly don't care anymore. You can call me whatever. I'm done. Like, I'm done. Yeah, that shit's over. Like, call me what you want. I stand on my principle, and you know who I am. People know me, and the people that know me know. I don't have time for this bullshit. So I'm going to criticize anyone. I'm going to criticize a Jewish person. I'm going to criticize a black person. I'm going to criticize my own mother. That's it.
Yeah.
Because that's my free will. And that was given to me by my Lord and Savior. So, like, fuck off, in the same sentence.
All right, let me get Strong Dad in here.
All right, love you.
All right, love you. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Trish on the check-in. Trish is fiery. She's very fiery when you get her going. My bad, Strong Dad. Trish cut you. Hopefully Trish is coming to the Grifties. Tickets available now. Grifties.com. I love this tweet. He says, I think the biggest issue is the fact that no one mentions the woke movement is just white people who have hijacked the conscious movement from black people and turned it into the abomination that is woke culture today. And that is something that I alluded to before when I showed you guys the conscious movement, right? I love that he tweeted this. I promised him I would put it on the show today.
Call from
Strong Dad.
And that's exactly what happened. The language of the conscious community got co-opted. Strong Dad, what's up, man?
What up? I'm glad that you were actually just finishing that sentence, because that's why I'm calling in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So Sinetta was, I don't know if people noticed, but Sinetta was one of Khalid Muhammad's foot soldiers in the later day.
Oh, that's right.
I want to say towards the downswing of Khaled's life, after
he defected from Islam.
Yeah, once he officially left and started his own party, then that's when you can see like videos of if you can find them anymore, some of his old debate videos and lectures, and you can see Sinetta standing there in the background. So, in the beginning, I really think that Sinetta kind of took the reins and transformed it in a good way for quite some time. You know what I'm saying? He brought, like you were saying, he brought that conversation. A lot of it was really centered on culture and bringing us back to center.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think the problem, where they lost power, because that was a lot of momentum and steam that he had, and people who came to his platform, people who put on. But I think one of the problems that, kind of discredited the conscious community and shifted it away from them was the fact that you had students of master teachers, students of Dr. Ben, students of Chancellor Williams, and students, who had legitimate knowledge and had compendiums of secret works of all of these master teachers who were our primary leaders, right? You had all of these guys, and they passed on their knowledge between each other and to some of the younger dudes. And so, you had dudes like Jabari Osaze and all these, Shaka, Reggie, all these dudes who had literal knowledge from our master teachers in a pathway. And the issue was that Sinetter turned the platform into so much of a debate platform that you had a lot of pseudoscience dudes who got a shot at people they shouldn't have got a shot at. It created so much confusion. When I found Sinetter's channel, I was like really inspired by it. And then I started to notice one of the main components was that they primarily talked about which religion to go to, which God to go to, which to do, rather than, kind of the way that, Dr. Clark was debating, right? Like he debated the validity of our works with people outside of us who were trying to discredit us. He didn't debate it with people within the group. And what did he say? He said, I only debate my equals, all others I teach, right?
Yeah.
And I really think that mindset was lost on some of the students. No shade to any of them at all, but they were still young enough that didn't stick hard enough. And because of that, you had, they kind of lost the message. We weren't talking about finance, the financial aspect of chemism, like all of the knowledge, regarding finance that Shaka had the ability to bring was immediately, muddied by the fact that you had all of these dudes arguing why he's wrong, who didn't even have any of his depth of knowledge, who didn't sit at the feet of some of our great teachers. And I really think that that's where the conscious community completely lost, where we could have had a transfer to the newer generation of Black intelligentsia being famous, or at least being more prominent, to, kind of being relegated to, which is more valid, Kemet or, Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get the need for those debates, but at the end of the day, we have to recognize our position among other people, not just our position with God. We got to recognize our position with other people and create a game plan to compete with them, because they're competing with us, even if we're not in the fight. And I feel like we just weren't doing that in that community. And that's why I came to Hotep Nation. It was like, they're not furthering the message. They're not furthering the message. The message is being furthered here. We're moving, we touch on religion. We touch on science. We touch on spirituality. We touch on this and that, but we don't spend our life, our day there. We elevate, we learn new things. We spend time on topics nobody cares about. We sit here and we listen to CDC updates because we are vested in the future more than just our spiritual self, which you really should in a world like this, because it's a battle, not just with your spirit, but with your very body and mind. So I don't know. That's kind of my diatribe on that, because I've always kind of had that sticking feeling, because I'm so inspired by, Dr. Khaled. I still very much agree and believe with much of what he said. And, some of his lectures and speeches are on repeat in my head all the time. So for me, I just got let down when I came across the conscious community and I saw where they went.
Yeah, there were some things I didn't like about the platform. However, I like the debates. I like the pushback. I've always been a fan of, I want to hear the debates. I want to hear the arguments so I can see the truth rise to the top. And I feel like anytime you don't have people saying, no, 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 how do you even begin to bring the truth to the top?
I just feel like only the, like people with more accreditation, people with more work in the field should have had the ability to challenge people like Shaka. You know what I mean? I personally don't believe no flat earther should have the right to challenge Shaka on anything. You know what I mean? Like
I like flat earthers.
They're entertaining. It is very entertaining. When
No,
I'm doing
I
dishes,
like
love
flat
listening.
earthers because it forces.
But I don't like it.
It forces a conversation that needs to be had.
Okay, then I got a question. Sidebar. If the Earth was flat, would that change anything about the way that we believe in life, the way that we go about life? I always like asking that question. And then
No.
I'll move back to the topic.
No.
Nothing. Not a damn thing, right? No.
No.
Nothing.
But what it does
But
is
also,
it
if
forces
that's the
people.
case-
It forces people to look up shit they normally wouldn't look up, like physics. Right now, you're like
True.
going down this rabbit hole of physics and heliocentrism versus what's the other one called? Heliocentrism versus what do they call Earth when Earth is the center of the universe? It causes you to just go down all these different rabbit holes, which at the end of the day creates more education in the mind, no matter which side of the debate you live on.
I think that part, that's a really good part. It has its place. I don't think that's a center stage thing. I mean, if it wasn't for the conscious community, then I would probably still be captivated with Lawrence Krauss and a bunch of atheists. I literally found, faith in listening to them debate each other. But I still think that there's a deeper, ailment that a deeper problem we have to fix that form of debate cannot fix on its own, that our teachers were doing, those leaders were doing, and that they left behind almost. I don't want to say left behind because Jabari still takes people to Kemet, right? They still teach. Shaka still teaches you can pay to. I've sat in some of Shaka's classes. If it wasn't for Shaka, I wouldn't know some of the shit that I know now. I got books on my shelf off of his book list that have expanded my mind beyond all. Those things, they're still there. But in the most popular area, Zionism's platform, I feel like the teaching aspect became. It just became more of a theater, when I feel like after Polite came around, things started to get Polite and Pharaoh, things started to get a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I did argue the validity of Pharaoh's existence, I'm still saying that this is part of my argument. But
yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like the conscious community could have done better after losing, our best teachers, and I do feel like that's
it was ran by a human, a very flawed man by the name of Sa Netter, who thought about himself and not the greater community. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he had a grand opening and a grand closing. This platform is not what it used to be. Part of that is because of the rise of BLM, but part of it was how he managed the relationships of the personalities on that show. Stories of him not paying people what they deserved, right? I think as that platform grew and Sa was enriching himself and, buying things, he should have took care of the people that helped building the platform, because he didn't build the platform. They did, those voices, those minds, those people built the platform. So, if it were me and I was, getting rich off of other people's content, I'd have to make sure I break them off. You know what I'm saying? And to keep that content flowing. I could see if Sa had the approach like a Hotep Jesus, right, where the primary content is me, my mind, and my work. Okay, you deserve the lion's share. But if all of your content is created by other people, you got to make sure those people get paid so you can keep that flowing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Now, do you think that there's even, one, if there's a chance, and two, if there's even a need for a Black intelligentsia anymore at this point in time?
It's always a need for an intelligentsia.
There's always a need for an intelligentsia,
That's
but
what
when
this
it
is
comes
all
to
about.
Black people, we're so far behind, right?
What do you mean?
Who's going to be that? Who's going to be the Black intelligentsia for Black people now? Who's going to replace, and how long is that going to take before it's officially replaced?
Who's that gonna be?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You know, I mean, I'm
It's
not
the
asking for
Hoteps. What do you mean?
I mean, but hold up. The Hoteps, I feel like the Hoteps, we have always been we're, I don't count us in that statement because even in that area, we are like, I feel like there's the golden knowledge is in the Hotep zone within the Black Intelligencia.
Yeah.
I don't feel like necessarily it could be the Hoteps because it has to be more like it, the Hoteps can't get it as accepted as the Black Intelligencia as a whole was accepted.
Why?
Only in small pockets, right? Like,
why?
I mean, even during
that's exactly what's going to happen,
right? Is it?
Yeah.
I just think we're going to remain fringe. I don't think Black people are
You
ever.
think we're going to remain fringe? Have you not been paying attention to the moves we've been making?
No, that's not what I mean. I mean fringe to Black people. Not to the world.
To Black people?
Black,
dog, I went to the gym.
world
I went to the gym the other day, and a Black dude stopped me and said, "Yo, you look like Hotep Jesus." When I tell you we're making inroads with the Black community, you have no idea. You have no idea.
Oh, no, man.
You're gonna see. You're gonna see. Because I think the issue is you view them as having too much power.
Yeah.
Right?
That might be possible.
And you underestimate the power of the ancestors. The power of the ancestors, you can't stop certain shit. You can't stop the Hoteps. You just can't stop it.
I think,
you can't.
I believe that the ancestors are just going to give us, like our new, like our sanctuary. And it's going to, like, I feel like the ancestors are going to be like, you know what? You don't need these niggas and push them away. You know what I mean?
But the thing is usually things are cyclical, right? So you'll have the rise of, some group or leaders, right? And then they'll usually fade into obscurity. We haven't even hit our pinnacle to fade into obscurity yet. You know what I'm saying? And usually this comes about when things are really bad, right? So the left has become so terrible that people are now like, I'm not voting for Biden. And the right's gotten so bad, as you can see now. So the worse things get is why people start looking for alternatives. And what we have is we are positioned for the future. We're not positioned for right now, which is why it looks bleak right now. You know what I'm saying?
How long do you think
10
it'll
years.
be until
10 years?
10 years? 10 years?
10 years or less. It's a capital thing.
That's a long time to wait, man.
It's a capital.
That's a long time to wait.
It's not a long time to wait. It took Chinese 100 years.
I know, man, but I'm just like,
you can't wait 10. This is a capital thing. This is about who has money and who doesn't. That's what this is about. Black Lives Matter. Why did they rise to prominence? Because they raised more fucking money.
Yeah, they cooked. They cooked for a minute too. I feel
it's
like
a capital requirement. When we flip our bread, the Hoteps and everybody in Hotep is a millionaire. You can't say no to bread. Why did Michael Jackson become the man? Because he's a fucking multi-millionaire. This is a bread thing. This is about money and moolah, knowing how to move it.
Right. I mean,
nobody, and when I say nobody, I mean nobody cares about money more than Black people. When they see Hotep Jesus pull up in the Rari, you don't think niggas not gonna fall in line? When they see Strong Dad pull up in the Rari, you think they not gonna fucking fall in line? Niggas go follow the money. You heard that from Killer Mike when he went on a Breakfast Club. Killer Mike went on a Breakfast Club, and what he said, I wore these gold chains just so the kids know to listen to me.
All right.
The Black community is the easiest community to communicate with. The easiest. Because they're very simple. These white folks, these motherfuckers is weird.
So you think we're going to have steam after Trump? Maybe we'll have more steam. Like we'll have more steam after Trump wins.
I'm not concerned with being seen. I'm concerned with growing capital.
No, that's what I mean. Steam.
Steam?
Yeah. Like, when do you see that influx of initial capital?
I don't worry about things like that.
You say 10 years?
I'm saying like 10 years from now is like a given. Like 10 years from now, if I'm not a millionaire, I just off myself. Like I don't deserve to live, right? Like,
yeah, because you're gonna be like 78 years old or something like that.
like the only reason why I'm not a millionaire now is because I got morals, right? Like I literally created a multi-million-dollar business and threw it away because I didn't want to feed people fucking bullshit ass entertainment. I didn't want to get rich off of entertainment. So I killed my website. I had one of the most popular websites in entertainment. That's how I got with 50, because I had an entertainment website. And I killed it. I could have sold it. I could have did a lot of things. I killed it. I destroyed it for my morals. You know how many times I could have been rich in my life that I said, no, that's not the way I want to get my money?
Man, I tried to get rich in my life and
I didn't sell my soul. That's correct, Trish. I didn't sell my soul. If I sold my soul, I could have been. I want to get it the right way. We're going to get it the right way.
I sold my soul. I was kicking windows and doors down.
Yeah. But let me get to the next caller, y'all.
Hey, man. I love y'all.
Hotep and Bill. Where's Rudy at? Rudy talking shit. Rudy, get your ass on the phone lines, nigga. Get your ass on the phone lines. You talking about Hotep Jesus is off today. No, you just not on. It's not that I'm off. You not on. You got to get on. Call the line. Let me hear what you got to say. Liz B says she just bought her golden Grifties tickets. I love it. I love it. I love it. Dr. Feelsgood said, that's why I've been a follower for 10 plus years. Dr. Feelsgood, do you not see the rise and ascension of Hotep? Do you not see the gradual rise?
Call from
Rudy the Vet.
Imagine if we had the Grifties 3 years ago. Imagine if we had, I'm sorry, not the Grifties, the Grift Report 3 years ago. Rudy, what's up, man? How you gonna say I'm off, bruh?
Hey, this is what you're off on, all right? Because this, that lady only got fired because $1 billion of money walked away from Harvard, dude. No more, no less, dude.
That's what I said.
No more. Did you say? What, did you
I said it was a Zionist move.
Yeah, it was the money. All right, my bad. Then I apologize, brother. I apologize.
I literally said she got replaced by a Jewish man, and somebody else in the chat posted all 8 Ivy Leagues are now run by Jews.
Yeah, I mean that's all it was, dude.
It was a change in power. This is what happens during the cycle.
Yes, one of Jabari's people with a lot of money that was kicking it to Harvard said, "I ain't kicking you no more money," and they were like, "This bitch got to go," and she got to go because they want that money.
My stream was simply about, my stream earlier was simply about, was there actual plagiarism? Because I just wanted to dive into the details of that, right?
All right.
Why and all of that, I don't really give a fuck. My point is, why are we trying to fix Harvard?
Fuck Harvard. I'm with you, brother.
So if they had somebody as president that didn't deserve the job, you should have let her stay there.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, man. Well, don't correct your enemy when they're making a mistake. I'm with you on that. I 100% agree. I just didn't know if you touched on the money aspect, brother. I didn't, because that's all it really was about, man.
Right.
Number 2, Strong Dad. My brother, my felonious brother. You just asked this man, who's going to be our leaders of the Black conscious movement, right? And I don't speak on black. You, Strong Dad, be the leader you want to be, brother.
Right.
Be the leader you want to be, man. Why you got to go? You've read the knowledge, you've soaked up the knowledge, brother. You can be that leader, man. You don't need to look to the next man. You could be that leader, brother. Be the leader you want your community to have, man. So, don't ever, hey, man, who's going to be our leaders? Motherfucker, you're a strong dude, man. You're the leader, dude. You could be that leader, man. You could be that leader. 3, I got my tickets to the Grifties. I can't wait, dude. I can't wait.
Rudy got his tickets.
I got my ticket. I'll see y'all in Dirty Jersey, baby.
Yes, sir.
I'm on my way. Coming out the South, man. I can't wait, dude. I can't wait, man.
Right.
But happy 2024, everybody, man. Like I said, man, don't. Oh. One more thing, man. One more quick point, and I'm out, brother. What Goldstein said about the right being usurped and the left being usurped, they've all been usurped, man.
Yeah.
The Christianity has been usurped. The left, look at the Pope talking about trannies are cool and condoning gay marriage. He's taken the largest Christian denomination in the world and usurped it. And then you already have your usurpers on the right. And you can look back to 2016 for this. Why do you think they put Mike Pence in? So all the evangelical Christians across the country will just fall in line because they're following the false idol, Mike Pence, or Joel Osteen, or this Bob Vanderpleet, the biggest evangelical in Iowa who backed DeSantis, and every day he's like, God, Donald Trump's not a godly man. Well, you try to bring God into politics, man, you've lost. Like Goldstein said, that's not what it's about, man. So Christianity has been usurped. It's been usurped. Just like if you look back at historical, when, man's been conquering man forever. So when you look at, there was a time of peace. Like, yeah, the Muslims came out, Islam came out and conquered Spain, and, but there was a long time where Jews, Christians, and Muslims were living in peace under Islamic law, right? And then you had Genghis come over and sack from the east, and the Mongols came in and wiped all that out, man. And then you had the rise of the extremist Islam. You know what I'm saying? I'll strap a bomb to you and go in there and blow people up. And where did they learn that from? The extremists in Ireland who were like, man, we're going to start bombing the Irish, the Catholics in Ireland who were bombing the Protestants, man. The fathers of modern day terrorism, man. So all of organized religion has been manipulated.
Yeah.
It's all about manipulation. Like Goldstein's, that's why I love listening to him. The Bible, the basic instructions before leaving Earth, man. Basic instructions before leaving Earth, man. You don't need some preacher to bring you closer to God. You need that book to bring you closer to God. And you know what I'm saying? I'm just going to leave it at that. I just think that all of organized religion has all been usurped by power brokers, man. It's all been usurped. And if you're anti-Ben Shapiro, you're not anti-Semitic, because if you look at the definition of Semitic, it's a brown skin, you know what I'm saying? Dark hair, dark eyes. Ben Shapiro is an Ashkenazi, aka Khazarian. Like I like Michael Malice.
He's not Khazarian. You got to stop saying that, man. You got to stop saying that, because it's historically inaccurate.
Well, what are they then? Because they're not Semitic people. Like I love Michael Malice.
The Khazarian myth has been debunked. Even Sam Tripoli debunked his own self on that.
Did he? I ain't caught that. I ain't caught that yet, man. I know he was all on that Tartarian.
He was off that.
But I'm just saying, though, if you look at the definition of a Semitic person, man, Ben Shapiro's not Semitic, man. He's from Eastern Europe. Man.
Well, it has.
Like you said,
I believe the definition of Semitic has to do with a language, and not exactly people.
I thought it was. Okay. I always thought it was people from the desert, man. You know what I'm saying? Arab folk, Israeli.
See, it says Israeli right here. Folk. Here, I'm gonna show you on the screen right now.
All right, give it to me, brother.
Right here it says Semitic, relating to or denoting a family of languages that include Hebrew, Arabic, and Aramaic, and certain ancient languages such as Phoenician, Akkadian, constituting the main subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic family. Number two, relating to peoples who speak Semitic languages, especially Hebrew and Arabic. So this Semitic thing, like you're right, it's not about race, it's about language. So these are considered Semitic languages.
Gotcha.
And then they have here on the right on Google, they have something that says ethnicity. So they do include ethnicity here. And what are they saying about ethnicity? So it says here, Semitic people or Semites is an obsolete term for an ethnic or cultural or racial group associated with people from the Middle East, including Arabs, Jews, Akkadians, and Phoenicians. The terminology is now largely unused outside the grouping Semitic languages and linguistics. So you're right. These people they can't say you're anti-Semitic, right? Because it has to do with languages. And it even says here on Google, I'm not sure when they're going to change this, maybe right after this stream, but it has nothing to do with ethnicity.
Nothing to do with it, man. Nothing to do with it. But
also, Dutch also hit on it too. There's the biblical definition of Semitic, which means the sons of Shem.
Okay.
That's
all right. That's why
I think
that's
that's
why I tune
one
in,
of
'cause I learn
Abraham's
something
sons
every
was
day.
Shem. Yeah, Jabari, like the term Caucasians outdated. Yeah, these terms are all outdated.
Okay. All right, brother. All right,
I don't
man.
know.
Well, listen.
I don't know what tribe these people come from, like Ben Shapiro. I've been asking myself that also, but it's not Khazarian. It's not Khazarian.
Gotcha.
I mean, if you're going to say Khazarian, you got to mention the Magyars. And it's not even 100% the Magyars either, right? Because I'll type that in here. You got the Magyars, and it says Hungarians known as Magyars, nation and ethnic group native to Hungary. All right, so this is the Hungarian area, right? So, you can't, and then if I type in Khazars, right, let's see what it says for Khazars. Khazars, they call that a Turkic people from the late 6th century, establishing a commercial empire covering the southeast section of modern Europe, Russia, southern Ukraine, Crimea, and Kazakhstan. It does relate like that. That does sound like them, but you can't just say that's what these people are. I don't think that's what they are.
Gotcha. All right. I mean,
in fact, I would venture to say that they co-opted the culture of the Khazars. That's what I would believe. I would believe that Ben Shapiro's people co-opted the culture of the Khazars, and that's why, you get that that confusion. But you got to stop saying they're Khazars. They're not Khazars.
Well, I really mostly say it so that YouTube don't ever flag your shit.
Call them followers of Moloch.
Followers of Moloch. All right.
That is accurate. I love that. That got that from Goldstein. That is more accurate than anything. These are people are followers of Moloch, either wittingly or unwittingly.
Gotcha. All right, I'm with you. All right, like I said, the main reason I used to say that, I don't ever want to get your stream flagged, man.
Oh no, I appreciate.
You know what I'm saying? Gotcha, brother. Gotcha. So I'll be more I got to be more accurate with the language, man. So the followers of Moloch, dude.
Yeah.
The followers of Moloch. I'm feeling that, dude. I like that, man. I like that. Another great term from the Nephilim. But all right, man. I can't wait till March 9th, brother. I can't wait, man. Hotep and Build, everybody, man. I can't wait, man. I get to meet some of y'all, man. It's gonna be fucking awesome, man.
It's gonna be insane.
I love it, brother. I love it, man. Hotep and Build.
Hotep and Build. Let me talk to Dre really fast. I want to talk to Dre. It's a lot of calls. Let me talk to Dre. Dre, call in. Let's talk to Dre. I can't wait to watch this Cat Williams thing. This is going to be hilarious. What's up with Venmo? Why is Venmo trending? Please don't be porn. Please don't be porn. Oh, God. Oh, I knew it. I fucking knew it. It's just going to be porn. These people have no fucking life, man. Jesus Christ. I can't even check the trending top. They really got to do something about this, yo. And the thing is, like, I can't just turn off porn. I can turn off explicit content, but it's just like, what constitutes explicit content? It's like, shit I might want to see. I might want to see somebody dropping an M-bomb. You know what I'm saying? Dre, call in. Let me catch up on the chat. What happened to calling them Jabari's people? Also true. Steph Colonel said Hotep's be like, we'll take it from here. Yeah. Cannon Hoteps, we the X-Men. Word. I don't know how Strong Dad got so black pilled today. I don't know what happened. Maybe he had a good day at the gym today, but you know, when he's concerned about the black community, I'm not really concerned about the black community. I'm not concerned about being a voice for the black community. I'm not concerned about being a voice to the black community. What I know is the black community ain't stupid, and they listen to when a motherfucker makes sense. Okay? So when I walk out into the world, I get the daps from black people. And they recognizing the Hotep movement. But we not gonna get AstroTurf. We gotta build this shit from the mud. Yo, what up, bro?
Yeah, happy New Year's or happy solar New Year's.
Hey, what's up, man? Happy New Year.
I'm totally unhappy with the fact how they just simply pushed this woman out of her job because she didn't agree with them. Now, I live here in Florida, know that you can't talk against the Zion. First time I ever called, I remember saying that, you know, Zionism, if racism is a pyramid, that's like the capstone. So basically, we can't speak anything bad about these people who, you know, basically use us to help build this country, you know, through slavery, how they profit through slavery and stuff like that. We can't talk about that because then that's going to be anti-Semitism. But this is the question. What is a Semite? That has never been properly identified. And they're making it seem like these Polish and German people. That's where their grandparents from. You know what I mean? Like, they're Semites. Those are Semitic people. Another thing true about Harvard, people might not know, but the cat from Harvard made his money through slavery from growing cotton on an island called Antigua. So for them to now turn around and push a black person out, Harvard is full of racists. It's full of racism itself. My whole thing is, I'm a free speech absolutely. I believe in free speech no matter what. If it's a clan out there marching, they have a right. You know what I mean? Just the same way like you have a right to express that, okay, one country is full of nonsense and the other one, you know, deserves a right to exist. I ain't calling names because I don't want to be canceled one day or something like that. But you have to agree with that even though that you don't agree because first, if you have a little bit of sense, none of those people consider something tied to the land. That's just number one. You know what I mean? You have no connection to that land. Poland, Germany, and stuff like that, yeah. But that part of the world, no. So, but like I said, I'm very sad that a place that's supposed to be, you know, the higher learning spot, basically try to dumb people down. Now, instead of banning speech, you could try to explain why the speech might be improper or wrong. But just to outright ban it, I don't agree with that. So now, what's going to happen now at Harvard? You know, the guys who are angry at Jews, what they're going to do, meet in a closet and say such and such. Oh, before I forget, another thing too, Jewish people were famous for doing pornography, creating pornography. They were the first pornographers. I read a book.
No, they're not the first pornographers.
They're one of the first. They're the ones who mass produced.
Nah, the pornography was mastered in Greece, especially under Caligula. Jews didn't invent shit, bro. They just popularized shit. The white man invented this shit. Europe invented this shit. It was haram in the Arab world. It was haram in Africa. It was in Europe that pedophilia, pederasty, and debauchery grew in Greece and on the islands of Greece and on the islands of Italy. That's where this stuff came from. Jews just understood, the rabbinate understood it could be used as a tool of vices to control people.
Exactly.
So they condemned it for their own people, but then exported it to other people because they realized they can control and master those people. And those people didn't say no to the beer. They didn't say no to the pornography when they could have. But they did not create pornography.
So, well, like I said, well, I'm sorry.
Maybe in the modern sense. Maybe in the modern sense, like putting it on film, maybe. But they definitely made it popular.
Exactly. Yeah, because I remember reading the book. It was like in German, and years ago I could kind of understand German because I kind of understand Danish.
Yeah.
And I remember reading a book called Judas and Criminal, meaning the Jew as a criminal. And they used to do some wild stuff. They'll, spitefully make a shop people broke, put them into bankruptcy, and in order for them to get out of bankruptcy, he got to sell his daughter, to be a prostitute or be in these pictures, these nasty pictures and stuff like that. They were using the laws to, this is according to the book. So, they were using the bankruptcy laws to make money. They'll start a company, go bankrupt because Germany has certain laws to help protect bankrupting companies. They'll actually make money off of that, would end up weakening the state. According to that book, because I don't know how much propaganda it is, because it was written in like in 1890 something. You know what I mean? But like I said, they were showing those people behavior. So I don't understand why you might not like somebody, and this is one of the reasons why personally I stopped listening to rap music, because I think they're gonna use rap against black people. I think that black people in this country, we don't have to go through some of the stuff that those white people went through, like in World War II, gas chambers and all of that.
Yeah,
I just got funny feeling that's in the pipeline for us. Me personally, I'm gonna be one of those that you're not gonna just put me in no gas chamber. You'll get me kicking and screaming, and if, I have my way, I'm gonna take a few of you with me. So like I said, it's a plan of the smart using the less smart. I don't want to use the word dumb, but the less smart using their vices against them to help control them and make them move and act in a certain way. Because at the end of the day, all of these divisions, they're all man-made. They're all made by man.
Yeah.
So once we got to find a way to get over that, our future may be a little better. But we have to find a way to get over that. So, and then another thing too, yesterday I wanted to call in. Why are the people that mad at the lady making cake with a nice breast? You know what I mean? If you're a breastfed, you should appreciate this. Like I said, me personally, I can watch that type of stuff and I don't go Louis. Maybe because I have a better control of myself. That's why I have this level of control. But like I said, I can watch that type of stuff. It was nice to look at. You know what I mean? But I'm more interested in the cake. Does the cake taste good? You know what I mean? That's my only concern. Okay, yeah, you throw some booby. Yay, booby. So, but like I said, that type of stuff, it don't move me. That like, oh yeah, I'm gonna see some boobies, but I'm like, all packing in my horniness. But like I said, like I'm saying, the way that this country is pushing is like they trying to push some type of insanity for you liking the things that you're supposed to like naturally. So I don't consider myself a Democrat nor a Republican because both of them are wings of the same damn disease bird. But this is just driving. To me, it's driving people to distraction and insanity when they got more important things to look about and worry about.
Yeah.
Like, there's supposed to be a big old solar storm supposed to be hitting, a big old EMP, natural EMP that's supposed to be hitting.
I think
I don't hear nobody
talking
about that.
I think that's just fake
You think
news.
that's fake news?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I know for a fact the sun is foul. The sun do make these discharges, and these discharges can hit and hurt the earth. The last time one did was just before we started getting the electricity as a major thing, like in the late 1870s, 1880s.
Yeah.
Before electricity became popular. So
yeah, I don't believe none of that
we
shit.
can't tell.
I don't believe none of that shit. Because anything like fear based, I'm like, let me look into it. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll say, oh, it was a solar flare. Meanwhile, it's them that shut down the grid. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust these, especially when it comes to outer space. I don't trust nothing of data about outer space because they just lie about everything. NASA's a big fucking marketing media company, and they lie about every fucking thing. They lied about going to the moon. So anything to do with outer space, if they say the sun's spitting out red hot flames, I'm thinking it's the flames are cold and they're blue and they're not spitting out, they're going inward. I do go to the exact opposite. It's just another fucking fear story.
Yeah. Okay, well, my thing is, I'm not gonna be scared. I'm gonna just try to be prepared. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't buy into fear like that. Yeah, it's like, okay, cut off on me personally. I've had health issues since the 90s. I've been on dialysis off and on since the 90s.
Yeah.
And I've had doctors tell me like, oh, if you don't do this, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
And I watch them with a stupid look on my face, but I'm gonna die anyway.
Right.
So what you try to do? You try to scare me to make me move to do something. That's maybe because I'm disheartened.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, you're not gonna use words and put fear into me. You have to do something physical.
Right. But let me get to the more callers. Let me get to the callers because it's getting late and I got to get to the callers.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I'm rambling though, but Hotep hot and build, man.
All right,
so like
Hotep
I said, people need to they need to get out there insanity.
Yeah. Peace. Cannon calling. Let's talk to Cannon. Looks like a new caller is trying to get. I want to talk to him before I get out of here too. I can't wait to watch that Cat Williams interview. Bryson Gray and the redhead libertarian are debating tonight at 7 p.m. on Alex Stein's show. Don't forget, Alex Stein is appearing at the Grifties. Go get your tickets at grifties.com. Maybe Cannon left. Let's talk to Matt, see what Matt's talking about. Strong Dad trying to double dip. Strong Dad, hit us tomorrow, yo. Oh, there go Cannon.
Call from
Cannon.
Cannon, what's up, yo?
What's up, yo?
What's good with him?
Not much. Just gonna make it real quick. Grifty's coming up in March, y'all. And your boy Cannon Hotep gonna give away one VIP ticket.
Are you giving away a VIP ticket?
I'm gonna give away a VIP ticket.
I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna give away a VIP.
What do they got to do to win? What do they got to do to win?
This is what you got to do. Go over to the Cannon Hotep YouTube channel and just subscribe and comment on one of my videos. There ain't got to be a new one. I'll see the subscription, and then I'll do an eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And that's how you get your ticket. Now, how you get there is on you. How you get there is on you, but I'm giving away a VIP ticket to the Grifty guys. It's a once in a, you got to be there, yo. Like, Hotep functions, yo. Y'all don't understand how fun they are.
I have no idea.
I have no idea how fun a Hotep
so down to earth, so real.
And I'm telling
so
you, like I said earlier on my stream today. Exactly. I said on my stream today, I said that like I guarantee once you come to the Grifties, you're gonna want a Hotep con ticket. Guaranteed.
Big facts.
Guaranteed. So like I said, head over to my channel whenever, subscribe and like a video, and that's how you get your ticket. Like I said, but transportation is on you. So if you win and you can't make it, let me know and I'll pass it on to somebody else. But I'm gonna give away a ticket, and if that go well, I might give away another one. But I know I can't wait. It's gonna be a fantastic time, and hopefully we can crash Jabari's spot.
Yeah, I definitely want to go and crash the Jabari spot afterwards. I think that's gonna be lit. That's a really good idea. Jabari, we crashing your spot Grifty's weekend.
Straight up. Anyway, that's all I got, man. Go ahead and get to somebody else. Hotep and Bill.
Yo, Hotep and Bill. Go subscribe to Cannon Hotep's channel if you want a chance to win a Grifty. I'm sorry. Win a VIP ticket to the Grifties. Matt, call in. Matt, call in. I want to get a beat on these new voices. Who is this? Kane? Matt or Kane? Call in. I want to talk to these new voices. AK's waiting in the wing. If he's still there. AK, if you still there, text me. This should be interesting. This debate should be interesting. I'll probably tune in. It's 7 p.m. I'll probably tune in.
Call from
Matt.
Matt, what up? What's on your brain, man?
All right, I'll make it quick. I know you're at the end of the day here. So I just feel like all this right-wing stuff is them just really trying to finalize the three-letter agencies. They want to totally dismantle the right to organize. And this is just the final nail to hit it. Because we started off combined as Occupy Wall Street. I don't know, you probably already hit on all this in the past, but we started as Occupy Wall Street. They split us. They funded one side of us. Maybe they still funded the other side. I don't know, maybe Sam Bankman-Fried funded Black Lives Matter and really helped them organize and get a good foundation. And then they had bullshit right-wing ones, like fake Nazi ones, fake KK stuff, demonize that. And
the online poses, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then the real one happened, Jan 6th, the most effective one. And now right-wingers would be the most effective organizers in the long run because they know how to work. I mean, it's blue-collar. A lot of these guys are military. I mean, they killed it. They killed our, I'm not saying I'm right-wing, but they killed their right to organize, the right wing, a real right to organize, and then gave us a bunch of fake people like Tim Pool and so on. But Black Lives Matter, they just weaponize that. They use that for what they want to use it for. But now they really need to dismantle Black Lives Matter so they can eventually bust our heads, all of our heads. I might be going down the wrong hole here, but I feel like we should be supporting whatever's left of Black Lives Matter. I know it's hard to do because it's so infiltrated and it's so fucked up, or whatever, Free Palestine, all that stuff, whatever it is now, because they might be the last bastion of being able to organize without it becoming, whatever Tim Pool likes to say over and over again, Like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's a controversial yet prolific thought. I never thought of that myself, because I talk about organization sometimes on this channel. I just talk about how the left is very organized and the right is unorganized. So,
but I think that's also by design too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, and it seems like even when black people started to organize, it was usurped by the Black Lives Matter organization. So yes, you're right. They definitely don't like organization. That is a true and indeed fact.
And then, they could I feel like they could give a shit about free speech. Have your free speech. We'll get to free speech eventually, but right now it's just right to organize. And we have to dismantle that over years.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, who knows, they'll weaponize the right organizing next and use them as a mob to crack heads, because we need you to, because the left is, I don't know, just look out for a false handkerchief on the left side too, because
absolutely.
Again, I like to try and be level-headed and say I have no enemies. I just have these people are misguided, a lot of these people, and they've been useful idiots. But it doesn't mean they can't swing back, because I used to be a useful idiot, and eventually I swung back, I feel like. But all right, man, I'll let you go. You're the man. You make my day better sometimes, so I appreciate it. No homo.
I appreciate you, bro.
All right, man. Bye.
I said earlier that Shem was the son of Abraham. I don't know the Bible that well. It's son of Noah. Thank you, Jonah. Jonah corrected me. Son of Noah. These are the sons of Noah. Shem and I don't know. I think it's got the Shemites, the Edomites. I forget that shit. I studied that shit fucking years ago when I gave a fuck. What is she texting me about? AK, we're waiting on AK to call in, and then I guess if Strong Ass there, we'll let him double dip. Tari is waiting too.
Call from
AK.
AK, what up, man?
What up, bro?
What's good with him?
You know, I liked your presentation. The only thing that I would maybe add, and maybe you feel this is too much of like a crossover, but under kind of racial identity, I think it's worth noting that collectivism, I think that is a component that I'm starting to see on the woke right, is this idea of not just racial identity, but like the idea that what matters more instead of like independence, liberty, freedom, right? Freedom to associate is like, oh, you're either with us or you're against us, from like that collectivist mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be the only possible addendum, but I think that it was a great
that
breakdown.
take, though.
Why is that?
Cause like then it's like it destroys, like what the dude was saying, it destroys organization. Like you need, at some point, you need a collectivist mindset. You can't just make it so broad that, oh, they have a collectivist mindset. Nah, at some point your group gonna need a collectivist mindset and agree on something. Titties, exposure of the female body is banned in haram. That's collectivist.
Well, so maybe you know, I guess fleshing out a definition would be better, but I would say that collectivism is the idea that no one individual matters more than the group. And to me, that's what I mean by collectivism.
I like that. See, that's the thing. Like, I defer.
I don't like that.
I defer. Like I can't get down with these. And again, these are these European-made terms used to obfuscate obvious things. When the fucking when the Arabs move, they move as a group, and that shit brings power. They don't say, yo, the individual is more important than the group. They say the group is more important than the individual, and that leads to power. So this is like this European mindset, which goes, the individual, you know, comes before the group. And it's like, no, the fuck you don't. When I operate in my family, no individual in his family comes before the entirety of the family. So I can't get with that idea. That sounds like some European shit.
But here's the question. If the group always matters more than the individual, then why wouldn't the group take any individual that stands in their way?
They should and would.
To what end, though?
I don't know, but it's for the benefit of the group.
So this is the difference to me between collectivism and association. In freedom to association, I can be like, I'm out of this group, and then I'm out. In a collectivist mindset, if I'm out, then I'm dead. Right, because I'm a threat then to the. You're right. You're right to a certain point, but to me, that I always think that the end of that always is that you will ultimately suppress people, because it's a function of collectivism, and so that's why to me, I understand what you're saying about the Eurocentric. But this is the thing about association, is that if I wipe my hands clean and say I'm out, then you're like, all right, peace out. We don't fucking need you anyways. But yes, collectivism doesn't mean that you can't decide to associate and say, I'm going to work towards something for a goal or a purpose, right? But what matters most, right, is my family, right? Like myself individually, and then my family, and then we associate with those that are like-minded. But if you associate so much that you'd be willing to sacrifice, you know, your family for the group at large, that's where you get into scary places where people start doing some wild ass shit, because then those in power will say, well, mine's more important, so yeah, we'll have to sacrifice these. I don't know if I fleshed it out super well.
I don't know, man. Feudal Japan lived off that shit, yo.
Well, but that's honor bound, right, to your family. The reason that people would kill themselves is because they dishonored their family, but the family was still centric to it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was very much about the family.
Yeah.
But and everybody fell in line to the family, and people would give their life for the family. It wasn't about the individual, it was about the family.
Right. And when I say
so
the individual,
that's a form of collectivism, no?
No, I mean not by the traditional terms that maybe this is where you and I are disagreeing on it. But
right.
Listen, I'll take some time to try and flesh it out and think it through. It's just in my studies of just life in general, there's always this like collectivist mindset that just to me always rubs me so wrong. And I've tried to be able to square it, but outside of that, I think it was a good presentation. I will say this too, though, that when it comes to, the woke right and kind of what the propensity is, I think that Goldstein, his take is off, because when it comes to organized religion, right, it's this idea that I think that, and it's not my idea, I'm not plagiarizing here, and I can't remember who exactly said it, but this idea that humans have like a soul-shaped hole, right, is the best way to describe it. And that if you feel that what's supposed to go in like the religious hole with, let's say, some other earthly value, that's what the left does. So like the left takes environmentalism or racism or whatever social justice thing is, and instead of filling the hole that's in there with some type of religion, they fill it with something that doesn't actually have a higher purpose to serve something greater than oneself. And I think that that's what's actually starting to happen on the right, is that there's this bastardized form of organized religion that people are starting to say, well, I don't need that. I'm going to fill that hole with, let's say, liberty or whatever, right? And I think that that's always going to be a dangerous place. But I think that adds to the similarities between the woke left and this emerging woke right, is that they're taking out having a faith-based system, and then they're filling it in with whatever earthly thing, and they're letting that be their guide. But for the woke right, it's like racial identitarianism is what's filling that hole.
Correct. And that's why I think things go left with collectivism. It's like, what are you collecting around?
I think maybe that's a fair way. I think that's a fair way.
Ask the right, what are they collecting around? And you're going to get a million different answers. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on.
No, that's true, man. I was listening actually to a debate, because this dude was telling me that Milton Friedman and Thomas Sowell were for universal basic income. And I know this is a complete left turn, but I listened back to this old debate, and this is where people start to muddy things up. Therefore, something called negative income tax, which in a sense functions like universal basic income, but the premise of it is different. So I was going back and forth with this dude, but this is to me kind of what happens with the right, is that people with the new right, I guess you could say the woke right, is that they say, well, this kind of looks like this, but it's the same to us. And it's like, well, no, like functionally speaking, you're acting like the left.
Correct.
But it does matter how you get there. And that's the thing that the right has been falling apart, is that I think that the right actually is supposed to stand for something. And when you're just saying, well, the left did it to get power and we want power, well, now you're sacrificing your values for power, which is literally what the left does. It can't just be power for power's sake. It's power to what end? Mm-hmm. The end always matters. And I think that's why, like in Hotep, to what end? And it's like to be able to make the community better. And then we have to put ourselves in check, because there is a line, because I would argue every person through history, like I'm not a believer of like pure evil. Okay. I think that every human has the capacity for good and evil. And then certain things that people lean on will actually bring your fruits to bear of more evil acts. But I think that even the people that did some very evil things in human history might have actually had good intentions. It's just who the intentions were for is what mattered to them. Correct. And then power corrupted them.
Correct.
But yeah, man, I know you've been going extra long, and I appreciate you for getting me in here, even though you're way past your time. But Hotep and Bill, bro.
Hey, Hotep and Bill. I told, cause I gotta get out of here. I got a meeting I was supposed to attend an hour ago for a homeschooling initiative. I did reach out to him and tell him I'm running late. I'm gonna take Strong Dad said he wanted double dip. I'll take that call, then I'm gonna head out so I can be somewhat respectful of this woman's time. Robert Jones says, I nominate Cannon for the Grifties. Cannon. Is Cannon nominated now? Hold on.
Call from.
Yo, Strong Day. Yo, what's good, yo?
Listen, I'm gonna keep it quick.
All right.
Yeah, man, y'all better put some respect on my name, man. Y'all better put some motherfucking respect on my motherfucking name, man. I asked the question because I like to ask questions. I'm curious on thoughts. I don't hold these positions as, you know, as concrete thought, and I want people to understand that, you know, especially when it's surrounding, you know, like Black intelligentsia and things like that. I ask these questions because I'm curious for the take. You know, I hold a position to get the take. So I just need to clear that up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
People calling me the victim mindset or not knowing, like, of course I know Hotep. I've been a Hotep for fucking 10 years. Where y'all been at? Come on now.
That's true.
Stop playing. Stop playing.
You a day oneer.
I'm a day oneer, and if you don't know me, I got videos and videos and videos that will explain my position so eloquently that y'all stop disrespecting me in the damn chat, man. Come on. Come on,
Strong
man.
Dad said put some respect on his name in the chat.
Yo, man, I be ending the call like I love y'all, you know what I'm saying? And then y'all be dissing a nigga. Like, come on, bro. Treat me right, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you know damn well y'all looking in the mirror and y'all got dicky dudes and y'all criticizing me, man. Do a fucking push up. Let me stop. I love y'all, man. Good job on the Grift Report. Much respect. And also, if you're left or right, then you're already wrong. That's just the fact is, if you're left or you're right, you're already wrong.
Facts.
No matter what. So, you know, maybe think about that. Anyway, that's all I got.
All right, man.
Hotep and Bill.
Hotep and Bill. Oh, y'all crazy, man. I love y'all, man. Y'all my little family, my collectivist family. You know what I'm saying? So who said that in the chat that they copped a ticket to the Grifties? Jason Lenz just got my Grifties ticket. I see you in Jersey, Jason. Welcome. Jabari Judy said, PornHub is owned by Ethical Capital Partners. Wait a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Wait a second. This is real? How you gonna be named? Hold on. Let's put this up on the screen. All right. Fact check, real time. There is a company called Ethical Capital Partners. They're out of Canada. And they did acquire a company named PornHub. Wow. Ethical and PornHub. The fund that just bought PornHub owner MindGeek won't say who's running the company due to unfortunate stigma, reports say. Why? Because he's Jewish? So he says here, it's a hedge fund with one rabbi on its board. Saying a rabbi owns PornHub without acknowledging the other Christian board members is how you get to the anti-Semite label, folks. And this is true. And that's why I be saying, like, it's really bad for people to say that society looks this way because of Jewish people. You cannot say that. You cannot say that. Because the white man had to be there to help him. He had to be there. That's why I say, yo, sometimes you cannot delineate between, yes, we can, Trish. Yes, we can sell merch. Yep. Trish says we got leftover shirts from HotepCon, so we can sell those. Absolutely. So yeah, we'll have merch available. So you can't, that's why I say, like, sometimes I don't delineate between white and Jewish. I'm like, man, all y'all white folks to me. It's a partnership, says Matt. Yeah. So don't go blaming Jews for shit. Nah, motherfucker. It's all you white people. And I don't even like using the term white people. I'm gonna say Europeans. This is a European thing. That's how Europeans was operating. And I think the reason why Europeans operated like this is because they had so few years to evolve. You know, when you think about what the rest of the world was doing, what the Arab world was doing, what the African world was doing, you know, those peninsulas and continents had a huge head start over Europe. Europe was sort of late in the game. So Europe is still maturing. So they're still making some of these mistakes that other civilizations had thousands of years to sort through, you know. For example, let's go, I don't know, let's type in ancient Egypt, right? Just to make things simple here. So you got ancient Egypt where they say that civilization coalesced around 3100 BC. I don't think that number is accurate, but we'll use that number. That means they had a 3,000-year head start. Now, if we're going based upon a Gregorian calendar, the European world is only 2,000 years old. So they got another 1,000 years of maturity before they realize these mistakes that they're making are mistakes. Don't leave out the Asian civilizations. No, absolutely not. You're right. We always tend to leave them out. We always tend to leave them out. But Jabari's right. Don't go around saying, you know, oh, Jews run porn. It's like, nah, motherfucker. It's a lot of white dudes buying that shit, investing in that shit too, man. You know what I'm saying? Got to be careful with your language. Thoth helped create all world religions. He corrected himself, Matt. Yeah. Tahuti, also known as the scribe or the accountant or controller of the ledger. You guys got to take that course by Shaka where he talks about money in ancient Egypt. He says everybody talks about the mummies and the statues and who's black and who's white. And nobody talks about how infatuated ancient Egypt was with economics and money. And he has a wonderful presentation on this. Got to bring up Amenhotep. Always got to bring up Amenhotep. Always. Matter of fact, let's bring him up right here. You want the first? Amenhotep the first? That puts him at around 1526, 1506 BC, 18th dynasty of Egypt. Son of Akhmos the first and Akhmos Nefertari. Listen, man, it's Wednesday. You know what that means? Chess lessons tonight. I had a puzzle earlier on the timeline. It was a chess puzzle. It was a really good one. I found the answer fairly quickly. It's a really, really cool puzzle. Really tricky. Really, really tricky puzzle. If I can find it, I'd like to bring it back up just to show you guys what the solution was. I didn't have it open in another browser, did I? Okay. Well, Twitter's not working per usual, so I'm not going to find it. Anyway, kick.com/Hotep Jesus. We're back tonight for, again, another lesson with International Master Alejandro Moreno. So we'll have another lesson on kick.com/Hotep Jesus, where we will, I think we're still going over superior strategy. Just about a 2-hour chess lesson if you guys want to get better at chess. I will say that this is not exactly designed for beginners, although I think beginners can benefit, because the thing about chess is it's more about the exercise than it is about the answers. You know, some people think, oh, I have to get the right answer or come close to the right answer. And really, it's just, well, did you use your faculties of visualization? And that's really what it comes down to, you know. And I always have to remind myself of this because I spend a tremendous amount of time studying certain positions, et cetera, and I get frustrated when I, you know, get a 50% score because I want to score 70 to 80% above at certain levels, and it gets frustrating. I just remind myself, like, look, you actually did the work, though. You sat there and you tried, And for chess, that actually makes you a better player just by looking at the board and trying to, see possibilities. That in itself makes you a better player. So if you guys want those chess lessons, kick.com/Hotep Jesus. Don't forget, if you want to come hang out with us, we got Alex Stein, Chrissy Maya, Anomaly, and more announcements coming soon. Grifties.com for the Grifties. And if not, I'll see y'all tomorrow for another edition of the Grift Report. Hashtag Grift Bag. Tag me, hashtag Grift Bag, if there's something on the timeline you guys want me to talk about, and we'll get into it. Until then, Hotep and Bill.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How am I supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in.
How'd you get that done so quick?
They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there. You understand?
You guys finished your work 6 hours early?
He's not tapped in.